Good morning, Raptor freaks. Lexi Out's here, and it's Wednesday, and we beat the Bucks last night in a rout, and it was a really, really fun game to watch. It was this this is where we're heading, guys. Is more of what we saw last night. There's a lot of talent on our team, and they're finding ways to really strive and balance and play really well as a team, both on offense and defense. In fact, as Doug Smith asked Darko Rajakovic after the game last night, is this the first game where you feel like you were hitting on both sides of the court? Whether it's, we've had very good offense this year already, but the defense hasn't been exactly right. And the defense was way good last night. In fact, Doc Rivers after the game was lauding Darko Rajakovic in his press conference, saying that their coach is really good. He's prepared them very well, and that he's seen a change in the Toronto Raptors team since last year to this point, that our guys are bought in, they believe in what Darko's doing, and that we're dangerous. This is kind of what Doc was saying last night after the game. Of course, he whined and cried about different things, saying why they lost. Giannis is a good player, and he doesn't complain much. So, if he's complaining, you're not getting the calls right. So he's like saying, there were a couple times down the floor where Scottie and RJ both attacked Giannis and stole the ball from him, and there was no call. And that the other ref crews may have called a superstar call on that, and that's what they're used to. But they didn't do that last night for some reason. Maybe it was because the Raptors were actually cleanly getting their hands on the ball and getting jump balls and getting strips. But yeah, it was awesome. I think that it's crazy because we talked about yesterday the Raptors staying at home and staying more one-on-one with less doubles, and that being a very effective strategy against the Bucks, and they did it, and it worked. And it was exactly what I said. They go and have Scottie guard up Giannis and try and let him play one-on-one. And in the title of this stream, I said Scottie Barnes played the best quarter of his entire life last night. And I believe that. And that was the first quarter last night. That first quarter last night, Scottie played perfect basketball. He played it perfect on both ends, and he was active and doing the most important jobs in some ways on both ends. It was amazing how these two teams last night came out shooting so well. Both the Bucks and the Raptors made like the first 8 shots of the game, and they were threes, which was crazy too. And I love that. I mean, that's what you see. Like, as they said at the end of the game, Jack Armstrong and Matt Devlin, this is a professional performance. This is a professional, very professional game last night. In some games, the quality of the game can look pretty ugly and start looking like G League quality. But this is high-level basketball we played last night against a high-level player and, a good team in some ways. And, I think it's cool. The first quarter was such an amazing quarter. Scottie managed to lock down Giannis, who's that by itself is hard enough to do. He gave OG-itis to Giannis. He did. Seriously, at least in the first quarter he did, until Colin came in and tried to guard Giannis, and it was a flop. And yeah, Murray Boyles wasn't ready for the Greek Freak. He wasn't. But Scottie is. And I'm, you know what? He did a real combination of how to guard him. There was a lot of denial, just fronting him and just staying around him, just making it not very clean or easy for the other Bucks to get the ball to Giannis. And he was just not involved in the first quarter at all. Scottie took him out of the game immediately. OG-itis. Scottie had his own malady to put on Giannis Antetokounmpo last night. It's not OG-itis, it's Barnes syndrome. That's what we used to call it. Yeah, Barnes syndrome, which means, yeah, you're in a syndrome and Barnes is on you and you ain't doing shit. And, that's amazing. That's great just by itself. Like, that would be a contribution on a top level just to shut down Giannis. I mean, that's a chore in itself. But no, what did he do otherwise? The other end of the court, he's bombing threes and shooting perfect. And just letting the offense flow. Nothing forced. None of these guys are being selfish. But they're all getting what they're supposed to get. It's amazing. RJ, Brandon, Scottie. This is a trio that is very powerful. And in some ways, they're so different than each other that it works, really, really well. It really does. And, some people are saying, well, Scottie and RJ can't keep up this great 3-point shooting that they've had so far this year. Why not? You guys are underestimating the effect of Brandon Ingram and just how much he draws attention. And RJ Barrett, he didn't spend all summer working on his threes and shooting them to miss them. No, it's like OG once again. He's not trying to shoot to miss, and RJ's been nailing his threes like crazy. Sure, there may be periods of time where some of our Raptors are not hitting their threes as well as they are right now. But honestly, if they're set and their feet are set and there's nobody near them, they can nail these shots. And Scottie, just like RJ, if he's open and he's got his shoulders set, you should expect that ball to go in. Also, if these guys start going a little bit down, there may be other guys that are heating up all of a sudden. No, Grady's not been shooting that well. IQ's not been shooting that well. All of a sudden, those guys start hitting threes like crazy in case RJ or Scottie isn't hitting as well. There's stuff here. We got specialists. We break in case emergency. Jameson Battle come out, hit some threes real quick. If we need some threes real quick. Yeah, we have a specialist for that. And, the load will be carried to get those 3-point shots. So, yeah, what a glorious game last night. In some ways, once again, we framed this game as a chance to see how we progressed. A chance to see we played the Bucks at home and a home opener, and we dropped the ball and lost the game we shouldn't have lost. Well, we had a whole different outcome, a whole different energy, and a whole different thing. We even saw Jakob come out, and his back looked like it was being nice to him, and he was moving way better last night. We saw a true Pirtle, and that was very important to see too. So, yeah, we're doing the reaction stream for today for a rout of the Milwaukee Bucks. And, yeah, NBA, you're on notice. Scary hours indeed. Scary hours indeed. Yeah, if you want to call me, the phone line is open today because it is a reaction stream. And I'd love to hear your voice on the phone. If you have my number to call, you can call me. And, yeah, tomorrow we're going to do a regular Thursday think tank because we have 2 days off. And the subject will be Sandy Brondello. I hope you guys got to see her press conference getting introduced by the Toronto Tempo yesterday. Well, we're going to do a WNBA Toronto Tempo-centric stream tomorrow. And I hope that we'll come in with a lot of enthusiasm and talk about the new hire and all the different things about that tomorrow on the Thursday Think Tank, 9:30 a.m. on this channel. Today we're reacting. So if you guys have the number, you can call me. And I say you can call me now. I like to do my opening spiel on the reaction, but if I'm, it's more on the previews. I have things I got to do, and I want to get them done. And calls are they break my flow. But I don't mind doing them on the reactions as soon, pretty soon. It doesn't matter. Trevor J's first in, Commissioner Fun with his words of wisdom. And I appreciate him because I know, if anybody's going to be in the chat in the morning, and I'm grateful and thankful that there are comments in my chat every single day, that Trevor J is going to be there for me. And I appreciate him for that. If you cannot change the situation, change the way you see it, because peace isn't found in control. It's found in perspective. Most of your stress doesn't come from life itself. It comes from the story you tell. This is one of the most useful words of wisdom we've ever had, because this is something I've been trying to get across for a couple of years on this channel. Perspective is everything. Some people would say that people in some countries around the world that are considered third world or developing, or countries that just don't have the lifestyle that people do on this continent, they look down on them. But I'd say this, just because they may not have all the possessions, they may not have the fancy car, they may not have the designer clothes, they may not have the lifestyle that we are used to around here, that in some cases they're happier than we are. Why is that? Because it is perspective. In some ways, this is the most basic tenet of Christianity, is to find gratitude and faith in the most harrowing of situations. You could be in dangerous places. You could be under the threat of genocide. There are people under that threat right now in this world. But these people may be able to find solace and peace in their everyday lives and everyday things because they have gratitude. And they, even if they have things that they very much should not feel thankful for, they find the things that they are thankful for. And that is their basis from where they start. That's a really big, powerful thing. And a lot of people in this continent, in this world, in this society are not getting this. And they're spoiled and they're full of shit. And if they just don't even get their latte warm, they're pissed off. They have no idea what happiness is when they have no basis of having gratitude for their life and just how privileged and happy they should be. They get so used to it that if the littlest thing isn't right, they're messed up and they're sad and they're upset. This is so powerful. I'm telling you guys, if you master what Trevor's talking about in his words of wisdom today, there's no situation you can be unhappy in. There's no situation that will get you down because you can find your happiness on your own solely because you derive it from yourself, not from other things, not from other people, and not from situations. You manufacture it all on yourself and you create it for yourself. So find that way and find that philosophy and be happier today. Yeah, thank you for the words of wisdom, Trevor. It's deep stuff. Perception is reality in a lot of cases, and you can perceive things to be the worst in the world and you will be miserable. But if you are in a bad place and you need some sunshine, you can derive it for yourself if you do it right. That's right. Trevor J saying, what a great Raptors game last night. They took the Bucks to the woodshed. Yeah, old Jim Ross. Yeah, on Monday Night Raw. Yeah, they took them out to the woodshed and took them to shellacking. Yeah, this is stuff Jim Ross would be saying about a wrestling match. There's a little bit of that kind of that. Yeah. You know, it's true. You know, what I said yesterday is like you can let Giannis beat you to a degree, but you do not want to let Ryan Rollins, Gary Trent Jr., or Bobby Portis beat you. No. And it was really smart that they stayed at home and played one-on-one defense. It was a really good time. They did show doubles at times, but they were very smart doubles. And it was really when Giannis would get too close in the low block and it was very threatening, they would send the second person. But they were covering the outlet pass to get to the shooter much better, and the rotations were crisp. Like Doc Rivers said after the game, the Raptors are bought into Darko's system. He can see it. And in some ways, that's why their defense was so good last night. I mean, this is probably the litmus test for Doc in his all of his years of being around the NBA, 50-something crazy years. So many years Doc Rivers has been in the NBA as a player or a coach. He's looking at Brandon Ingram, and he's saying, holy crap, look at how Darko's getting Brandon to buy into all-around game and playing defense and getting block shots and doing stuff like that. That's different. That's different. In some ways, you have to be organized and have enough of a group collective that's bought in for Brandon Ingram to throw his chips in and say, yeah, I'm bought in too, and I'm going to go in on what y'all are saying and do it. You can't get to that point on Pelicans. So in some ways, it's kind of interesting to see. And that I think that in some ways, that's how I read Doc's comment after the game. It's like, these guys are bought in. He means, I see Brandon Ingram doing stuff I haven't seen in years. That's what he's saying right there. And I love it. I love it. This team is bought in. Our coach is good. All the fucking people that slagged on IQ or this, that's the other thing that Darko said. These idiots came at him after the game, said, oh, Darko, isn't it nice to see IQ have a better game tonight? You say, what do you mean? I didn't think he was having bad games. That's just your bullshit in the media and the social media saying things about IQ. We're not obsessing about IQ right now, like Reddit and Facebook and Twitter and you guys writing articles. I'm not obsessing about Emmanuel. We don't give a shit. He's doing fine. Everything's normal inside. He's just like Grady. He's just like Jacoby. He's just like Scottie. There's nothing different with Emmanuel quickly right now internally on the team. It's just that there's a lot of outside noise that's unnecessary and kind of stupid. That's what Darko's saying last night. He was very defiant and angry about it to a degree too, and I love it. And somebody's like, he's like, y'all are the idiots that are going over and over and over again about Emmanuel quickly. And we are not doing this internally. We don't see any problem with what he's doing. He's playing fine. So what if he's not getting 20 points? So what if he's not shooting exactly well? These are normal things in the NBA. They go up and down. And he's going to be fine. None of us have panicked. Nobody is actually inside going, oh my gosh, Emmanuel this, Emmanuel that. Nobody is. Nobody on the team, none of the coaches, none of the players, none of them would come up to him and say, Manuel, you got to play better, man. You're not trying hard enough. You're not doing enough for us. Nobody has said that shit to Emmanuel quickly. It's just a made up bullshit noise around the media and the slash social media. As Darko said, he was kind of mad. Like, seriously, Lewinberg and Grange coming at him with like these he's not anti Emmanuel stuff, but like kind of like down on Emmanuel stuff. Eeyore shit. Yeah, Michael Grange, Eeyore shit. Oh, Darko, isn't it nice to see Emmanuel finally have kind of a good game? So, what are you talking about, Michael Grange? We are not talking about Emmanuel like this. You and the media, social media, making up this bullshit. It's basically what Darko said last night. I was loving it, man. I was like, yeah, stand on your business, Darko, and stand up for your point guard quickly. Seriously, man. I love that, man. I love that. Jakob in the after game interview saying, his back is going to be a work in progress. It felt better, but it's not going to be 100% for a little bit, and it's going to be something they're going to have to work on for a while. Yak was very happy and positive about returning to the lineup. And, it wasn't a super big game for Yak, but he was effective and he was moving the best he's moved so far this season. And we saw in his output and what he was his helpfulness to the team, that when he's healthy, he's way more effective. And we saw that last night. And I think IQ did benefit from him being back immediately. That, a lot of those picks and getting him some room really allowed him to do a little bit more. I've noticed that Emmanuel's shying away from trying to finish near the basket. He'll dribble to the basket, but he dribbles right through and comes back around out the other way. I think he hears footsteps and he feels like he's going to get blocked shot too often. And that's why he comes in and comes back out. I wish he would try and figure out how to finish in traffic with people around him. But I guess he's just found too many outcomes where he is not successful. So he pulls it back out. But yeah, very interesting game. We got the stars of the game. We got all that other stuff. Let's see. Trevor's saying RJ just a 20 piece every night or more. Can't stop that man. Yeah, RJ's awesome. RJ's just, you know what? In some ways, we need RJ because he can be like a top level player, a star on our team. He could be the best player on a lot of teams in this league. But having him as kind of like the third guy in this situation is really good because he's sacrificing every night and he's going at the highest of efficiency. And he's a dutiful Raptor who just says, Coach, what do you want me to do? You want me to do this? He's not having any errors. He's not having any demands. He's working within the parameters that they want him to do. And he's absolutely hitting it out of the park. He's absolutely efficient. And this is part of why this is working is because RJ cares so much about playing for the Raptors and he wants to see the Raptors succeed that he's willing to make ultimate sacrifices. And in some ways, because he's so daring and able to do that, he can play to limitless potential, unlimited potential. That's what he can play to because he's in some ways, he's just playing for pure passion, pure joy, and purely for his city. So it's like the ego is not going to get in the way. He doesn't care if Brandon's doing this. He doesn't care if Scotty's doing that. In some ways, he sees the abundance mindset that I tout so much on this channel, that I feel like more and more people in this world need to turn their head around from scarcity mindset to abundance mindset. And they will just realize how fucking bullshit the whole system we live in is and how we could throw it upside down in a minute if we change our minds on scarcity to abundance. Seriously, there's enough for all. We can all feed. We can all be fine. And the Raptors are a testament to this as a basketball team and their philosophies and the way we play. Only selfish people thought that this team we have this year cannot fit or work together because they come from selfish intentions in their own head. And they project those selfish intentions on people like Brandon Ingram, RJ Barrett, and Scottie Barnes. And then they think that, because I think this way, and it's a dog-eat-dog world, and we got to crush other people to get what we want, that this is just the only way. You put those projections of those kind of mindsets in their heads. No, they're not like that. This is the difference. Once again, in their circle of trust, in the Raptors world, they are abundance mindset. All for one for all, win for all. And they're not thinking like a lot of common fans. And that's the big difference with you idiots on Reddit and you other people that misjudge the Raptors saying they're going to not work because they can't work. Those guys are all too good. And somebody's going to get selfish and somebody's going to get upset and it's going to get blown up. What if that's not true? What if there's ego is checked at the door? What if these guys get the assignment? What if it's so well organized and they know what they're supposed to be doing that there's no stepping on toes? and that everybody is working like a well-oiled machine and everything is exactly fine. Because that's what I saw last night. And I also saw it being sustainable for this year. Like I said, a big key of it is RJ Barrett being absolutely fine with taking what he gets and making the best of it and not asking for more and not trying to get more or not being toxically sulking or any of that kind of bullshit. It takes somebody checking their ego at the door for the sacrifice for the best of everybody. And they are all doing this. Scottie's making his sacrifices in different ways for his game. Like Jack Armstrong said last night, Scottie Barnes could average way more points than he does right now. He could do way more, and some of the casuals out there wish he would, but that would not be for winning basketball, and that would not help us win. And that's what Lex said all summer to you casuals about Scottie and his scoring and what he should be doing on the court and what is his best thing to be doing to help the Raptors win the best. No, it's not the selfish scarcity mindset that all y'all came at him from the framing of. Oh, Scottie's got to be selfish. He's got to get the best stats in the world. No, you know what? He needs to do what is best for us to win. And if that means 15 rebounds and 10 points, there's nothing wrong with that. Brandon Ingram, big sacrifices to he's going to become more and more a complete player. Yeah, we need you to do exactly what you do best, Brandon. But we also want you to save some of that energy for other stuff. And if you don't get 20 points on a certain night, like last night, but you contribute in major ways in other areas, that's a winning formula. And that's what we want to see. But the people that are so selfish in their own damn lives that would take things from other people just to be, I have more than you. Fuck you. I don't care if you starve. That mindset is what drives a lot of the inane, stupid-ass comments and stupid-ass things because they think it's a selfish fucking world. And well, it is in your head because you have it that way. But just like Trevor's words of wisdom, your perception can change your world. And if you want to change the world for the better, you get an abundance mindset and you start looking out for everybody instead of trying to cut people down for your own good. That's the thing that's going to change this world and make it a better place. Is when we understand there's abundance. We're all on the same team. We can all feed, and we should all be looking out for each other. We should all be putting a hand out to pull people up, then putting a foot on their head and stepping over them. This is a world philosophy that can be embodied in the NBA world, and you can see it in real life, how it can work. And then you will know that in your everyday life, if you come at an abundance mindset, like the big three for the Raptors and Darko and the rest of the team, that you can be more successful and you can help other people around you be more successful, and we can all be way more successful. And that's what this world needs to change to. There's too many selfish people in charge. There's too many money hoarders. There's too many people crushing other people's lives economically unnecessarily because they are sick with the vile scarcity mindset. It's all right there. You can see life through the Raptors if you really look at it. I'm telling you right now. All right, let's keep going. Yak came back, and everything looks different. The Yak came back yesterday. The Yak came back. He wasn't ever a goner, but the Yak came back. He just couldn't stay away with his hairy shoulders. I love Yak so much, man. He's so awesome, man. Trevor J's bringing up that the Tempo officially announced that Sandy Brondello is the first head coach of the Toronto Tempo franchise for Toronto. And, well, we're going to go in depth on this tomorrow. I watched the press conferences, and I saw that she was at the game last night. We're definitely going to go heavy on this subject and the WNBA tomorrow. So please hold your comments and stuff for the Sandy Brondello hire. For our Thursday think tank, it's going to be our full subject tomorrow. And we're going to be going over this pretty heavy. I have some very interesting insight on Sandy Brondello that I want to share with you guys. It's something that everybody's going to want to hear. I had a couple tells from their press conference yesterday that I need to get out because I can read their minds and I know what's going to happen with the Tempo. So if you want very, very interesting insight on the Toronto Tempo's plans, you will want to watch the Thursday think tank tomorrow, because I am going to drop some bombs on y'all. I don't want to do it today because I want y'all to come back tomorrow. In some ways they say, leave them hanging, leave them wanting more. Yeah, there are some things that I figured out yesterday about what the Tempo are doing that are going to be huge, y'all. They're badasses. Let's just put it that way. They're badasses, and you're going to find out. We're going to talk about it tomorrow. I don't want to let the cat out of the bag right now. But when I talk about it, y'all are going to be like, whoa, yeah, it's going to be like that, y'all. It's going to be like that. All right, let's see. James is here. Raptor Freak James, good to see you, man. Having BI on offense translates to good looks for Scottie and RJ. Yeah, much better shots, much better shot selection. You know, the ball movement last night was immaculate. Wasn't it bellissimo? The beautiful game. You guys saw the beautiful game last night, especially on that one play where Sandro got the three-pointer at the top of the key. How many passes was there on that possession? How many times did that ball go around the horn? That's right. How many times, Tony Reale, did that ball go around the horn on that play right there? You saw Grady touch it. You saw Scottie. You saw RJ. You got the boom, boom, boom. Brandon, boom. Sandro, boom. 3 from the top. And that wasn't the only play where the ball movement was moving around very quick and fast and crisp and very unselfishly. And you know, the shot percentages, the shot selection, very high. In fact, Darko brought this up. One of the reasons why Scottie's shooting so much better is shot selection's better. One of the things that he stopped doing is, you know, last year a lot of the threes that Scott was taking were on the move. Like he would do a lot of like step and moving and stuff like that. But if you notice this year, he's set in shooting. He's doing more set shooting. And that's increased his percentage. He's actually shooting 50% from 3 this year. Seriously. That's what Jack said in the middle of the game last night. He's shooting 17 to 34. If I math, that's 50%. That's right, Jack. Scottie's shooting 50% from 3 right now. People said he couldn't shoot the 3 last year. They didn't realize these were messed up. These right here, both of them, on both hands. Scottie's pinkies were all messed up last year. You got to understand, you know this stuff. You watch a Raptor Freak every morning. Scottie had busted up pinkies last year. That messed up his three-point shot last year. But casuals just like, oh, he's washed. He doesn't know how to shoot threes. Why does he suck so bad? We should trade him. I hate him. Yeah, casuals. Shut the fuck up. You've seen the man that Scottie is now. And as I said, I feel like he played the best quarter of his NBA career in the first quarter last night. He held down Giannis, and he was like perfect from the field and playing really top-notch offense and scoring. Sometimes we see Scott, he has to just focus on one thing. But this is the evolution, y'all. When he can do both things at all times on the court. Like for a while, it's just like, can he do something for a quarter? Can he do something for a half? Can he do this side of the ball for the whole game? Can he do both sides of the ball for one quarter? Yes. And we saw that in the first quarter. And Darko was giddy after the game. And one question they asked him, they're saying, Scottie Barnes, you don't understand where he's going to be in the next 3 or 4 years and the plans I have for him. He's going to be a real problem for this league. You guys can see this. You guys can see this. And this is why all the idiots who said anything about wanting to trade Barnes, you're absolute fucking idiots. Because Scottie is a transcendental player in this league, and he's going to get better, and he's going to show some stuff that's going to absolutely be so overpowering and amazing that he's going to be the greatest Raptor of all time, guys. Seriously, he's going to beat Kyle in the end. He's got to get a championship and get some of the accolades. But if he can be the Kawhi level kind of guy that gets us the next championship, and he's stuck around and he's been on our franchise his whole career, he becomes the GOAT. He becomes a GOAT. Kawhi, if he had stuck around and won another couple championships with us, he would have been the GOAT over Kyle Lowry. But he flaked out, and he left it all on the table behind him with Uncle Dennis. That's the thing. Scottie is a level like Giannis, and he's going to be more and more on the level of Giannis and Luka and SGA in the next 2 years. And we're going to all be very happy that Scottie is our franchise player, and he plays the way he does, and he's listening to Darko. This is the other thing you got to realize. Scottie doesn't become who he is right now without Darko, because he's guiding him. He's giving him the template. In some ways, Scottie came to Toronto as a piece of clay sitting on a table. You can mold him into whatever you want because he's so versatile, so skilled, and it's all like that. And in fact, Scottie said this summer, he's like, I'm not exactly the NBA player I thought I would be right now. This is not exactly who I thought I would be when I was at Florida State or when I was a kid dreaming about this. This isn't actually really the archetype that I thought. I mean, if we go by what Scott picks on his 2K for player build, he sees himself as a shooting guard like Russell Westbrook. He loves making shooting guards, like small guards that can dunk and play defense. I don't know what he wanted to be in his NBA career, but Darko's going to help you be a very interesting place. And in some ways, that's even more intriguing, is that Scottie doesn't have a vision of his finished product. And in some ways, he's blindly just listening to the instruction and trusting Darko to go forward and just mold. And I'm telling you, with this kind of situation and the way they're doing it, the sky's the limit for Scott, especially with a really, really learned, longtime coach like Darko, who really does have a clear vision of what he wants Scott to become. But Scotty himself doesn't totally understand it as he's going through it, but he's going to learn more and more as he gets there. There's a lot to this, guys. And in some ways, Scotty is developing kind of like a big man. That's the thing, too, on the down low. A lot of top-tier talent comes in the league, and they're just ready to go. You know, LeBron. Think about LeBron. How long did it take LeBron in Cleveland? Maybe the first couple of years were a little shaky, but he got right into it pretty much 3 or 4 years in, right? Scotty's taking a little bit longer, partly because in some ways he's developing like a center would. It's a little bit of a learning curve, and there's a little bit of a delay on Scotty's development because some of the stuff he's doing is center. Some of the stuff is big man development stuff, Pete Newell camp stuff. And, that just takes longer to get a big man to get that place. We've seen Jakob's journey on how he became better and better over his career. We've seen Jonas Valanciunas' journey as a young player from Lithuania on our team and over the years and how it took him to develop and stuff. In some ways, Scotty's like that. So in some ways, we could think, maybe he's going to start really showing a really top tier level where he's going to be for most of his career. What, around year 6, year 7? I mean, they're coming up, right? He's in his 5th year right now, right? So, woo-wee, look out. Darko's saying some stuff in that. He's like, you look out in about 2 years about Scottie Barnes, maybe even this year or maybe even next year, because it seems like he's progressing very fast right now. Very, very fast. Scottie Barnes is my star of the game for last night. Scottie was all around. Like I said, he was doing it on both ends. He got the chain. We saw he got the chain last night, but in some ways you could have given him the Cobra scepter too, Darko. And we want to keep track of who's got what. So y'all need to show us who gets the Cobra scepter and who gets the chain. Because honestly, Scottie probably should have that chain around his neck and holding the Cobra scepter because he played on both ends. And he did it on both ends. And guarding Giannis like he did last night, that would be a tall task just on its own. Regardless, throwing in all the offense around it, hey, outstanding. That's the word that Darko called it, outstanding. Yeah, he only played 28 minutes. He didn't even play 30 minutes, and he got 23 points. He was a plus 24, and he was the one of the higher pluses. 3 rebounds, 6 assists, 4 steals and 2 blocks. And this is something that's a really lot of fun right now. Scotty's very defensive aware, and we're seeing an increase in the stocks. He was already a really good stocks person his whole career. He's always gotten steals and blocks, but there has been a slight uptick in the last few games where he's getting double the blocks and steals he normally gets. So that's good stuff, man. That's really good stuff. He shot a decent percentage, 9 of 16 overall, 3 of 5 from 3. Not too many threes, and he made most of them, and he made both his free throws. Yeah, just a really great all-around game by Scott. You know, I won't say this was maybe I should say this. This is the best game Scottie ever played in his life. Well, he had the best quarter he's ever played in his life. I know that. That first quarter was immaculate. And they honestly, they kicked their ass right away. I mean, it's granted, look, and Doc was making excuses after the game. We were tired. We didn't have it like they did. They came very well prepared, and they out-physicaled us. That's what he said. He said that the Raptors out-physicaled the Bucks last night, that we took them to the woodshed, like Trevor said, that we out-physicaled them. It's pretty cool. My second star of the game is Sandro Mamu. Off the bench, Sandro was really key last night, very active. And we found out in the interview afterwards and from Darko that Sandro will get to play as long as he's active, as long as he's out there moving. It doesn't matter if he makes shots. He just wants them to hustle. He just wants them to go get rebounds. He just wants them to play good defense and just get after it. If he does all that, he doesn't care if he makes shots or not. He will get minutes. And they're also talking a lot about how Sandro Mamukelashvili has gotten to play every game so far this season. That in all of his stops in the NBA before, in Milwaukee and San Antonio, he was not an everyday rotation player. He was more, maybe 2 out of 3 games he's playing. He's missing the third one. So this is an uptick for him, and this is a progress for him in his own personal career that he's now an everyday player. and playing on the court every day. 23 minutes for Sandro. He really helped the bench scoring a lot last night. And we need that. 15 points with 4 offensive rebounds, 7 rebounds altogether. He got an assist, and he shot 50%, 6 of 12 from the field, 3 of 5 from 3, just like Scott. And he was a plus 28. So he had to be adding up to winning. In some ways, it's interesting for him because he was on the Bucks and he as a rookie, and he played against Giannis. And he brought this up in his interview after the game. He said he's really proud of Colin because he tried to guard Giannis, and well, he didn't exactly do well. He did kind of fail. But Sandro said, look, when I came in as a rookie and I had to guard Giannis when I was on the Bucks, I absolutely failed every which way. I didn't have any kind of ability to try and stop him in any kind of way as a rookie. So he's really impressed with Colin Murray-Boyles and the fact that he could somewhat kind of do some defense on Giannis last night. So that was one of the things Sandro said after the game. And he's, Sandro's awesome, man. He's a real keeper, seriously. Like, he's a really good bench guy as far as just a guy in the team in the locker room. He's a really good role model for getting after it and really like not letting down on energy. And, the all-roundness of his game is so useful. It's so useful. The fact that he can hit threes and the fact that he can play some defensive big man is really, really useful. Those two things together. And plus on the break, they were talking about that too. It's like, I don't know. There's some really dumb questions by the press the last 2 days. Like, I don't know why they ask these questions. It's kind of like Chris Farley with Paul McCartney on Saturday Night Live. You were on the White Album. Yeah. Yes, Chris. I was on the White Album. I like that album. Yeah, I like that album too. You were on Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. Yeah. Yes, Chris. That's an album that we made, the Beatles. Yes. I like that album. Some of this shit is like this. They're like one of the guys came to Sandro and said, Sandro, you're taking threes and you're going to the basket. Yeah. Yeah. It's like, okay, yeah, you okay, you're observing things, but what is your question? It's like some of this shit is like this. It's like, I don't know. So I don't get it. Either way, Sandro's my second star off the bench because I felt like he had a real impact in good ways last night. RJ Barrett is my third star. RJ just steady, man. In some ways, he doesn't need the spotlight. This man's getting interviews. This guy's getting chains already. But in some ways, he can get the output that he's been doing and not get that and not be getting the spotlight. It doesn't matter because he's chipping in his part and he's doing what he has to do. And in some ways, he's like Siakam. He fills the water in the gaps. Yeah, the gaps. If there's gaps in the game and there's things we need done, RJ Barrett's filling in those gaps and making sure we're solid. And I love that. I love that, man. RJ, 31 minutes, 23 points, 8 rebounds, 4 assists, 1 steal, 2 blocks. That's what I'm saying. These guys are all stat stuffing. He's got a stat in each category. That means he's doing something. I mean, when is RJ block shots like this? Seriously, y'all, we're seeing RJ Barrett get block shots on a regular basis right now. He shot 50%, 6 of 12, 4 of 8 from the 3. He did miss 5 free throws last night for 58% at the free throw lines. That may be my only criticism of RJ Barrett is that, well, sometimes he falls off on the free throws every once in a while, but overall he's shooting the free throws way better this year. A +6 with 23 points in 31 minutes. Star J Barrett is just a badass, man. We love you, RJ. You play for your city. In some ways, you're a quality control for the team because your passion is true and for the city, and other people around you have to respect that. And in some ways, you build up the game for all the other guys because you're doing it for the right reasons in major ways. And well, they can't help but feel that energy and the major reasons why you do it. And that rubs off on them. And it's the most pure intentions and reasons. It's the most pure intentions and reasons. My 4th star of the game last night is Brandon Ingram. Brandon Ingram did not score a lot of points. Like I said, in some ways, sacrifices are being made by these players. But did he look bad? No. He may be a little bit smaller dose. Once again, the only stat on this team that matters is this one. And we saw all round from him. 13 points in 31 minutes. He had 8 rebounds, which is absolutely fantastic. I love him getting a lot of rebounds. 4 assists also, 2 blocks. And that's what I'm saying in the title of this stream is like, Brandon Ingram is a defensive whiz? Huh? What? Yes, he is. He is. And I love it. It's a great development. And in some ways, I think that Brandon's relishing the new challenges on the Raptors of being a more complete player, of getting the chance to show some of the stuff that he probably enjoys on the down low, but it's just not very flashy or attention getting in the NBA. And in some ways, like I said, he has to have the trust and the safety net of a team defense where he can feel like he can be more out there as a defender and show more of that aspect of his game. So I appreciate you, Brandon, for your assists, your blocks, and your rebounds and your stat stuffing, besides the silky smooth, amazing footwork and shots and the way you do stuff. That stuff is going to be coming in handy more and more as the year goes on. As you find your rhythm with the Raptors and get more comfortable, more and more comfortable with them, I know you're going to be taking over games and you're going to be very overpowering, and other teams are going to be really mad and they're going to be really upset because the Raptors are going to win a lot. So this time is coming. Brandon Ingram is just scratching the surface with us, guys. And there's a lot of interesting things that can happen with him and Scottie in the near future. Trust me, the near future is very bright. Where's my shades? That's right. I need my shades because the future is so bright. All right, my fifth star for the game last night is Grady Dick. I'm gonna give Grady Dick a little bit of credit for coming in, and he was in garbage time where he got a lot of his points, but he had some nice threes near the end of the game. And in some ways, we just want to get him confidence and doing the things that he does. 22 minutes for Grady, 14 points on a plus 15, 1 rebound. 3 of 4 from the field, and they were all threes. So he shot 4 threes, and he made 3 out of the 4. Now he did miss a free throw. He was 5 of 6 at the free throw line. So he got the free throw line. He was active. He got a good chunk of minutes, and he got double digits in the game. Now, granted, some of the scoring he did was at the end of the game, but I want to give him some shine for doing some really good stuff overall. I'll give an honorable mention to Jakob Poeltl for coming back and playing hurt and looking way better, moving way, way better out there. Way, way better. All right, we'll do the rest of the box score in a second. Let's see. James is saying Ingram is shooting 60% in the midi pull-ups, a stat posted by Simpson Folk. Yeah, he's really solid there. It's just how do you guard that? He's so tall and long, and his arms are long, and there's a Wemby thing to it. It's like, how do you guard that? How do you guard that? You're an average NBA player, and Brandon is just like that. And the thing is, it's a combination of the lanky length of his body with the very, very hard work and the attention to detail and the craftsmanship as an NBA player and what he built himself into over his almost a decade career. Seriously. I mean, that's OP. In some ways, Brandon could have that body and be in the NBA, but if he didn't put in that work, like he has, like being the gym rat he is from Virginia, if he didn't put in that work, he doesn't do this. There's tons of guys that have that body that him and Durant share, but you have to put in that work to be like Brandon. You don't just naturally become it. If you're naturally talented and you just have all that Kobe Bryant footwork in you, well, you're some sort of weird savant, like a prodigy. But he put in so much work to be like this, and it pays off. It shows because all that mid-range stuff is deadly. And honestly, every time down the court, Brandon Ingram's a mismatch. I don't care who's going against him. He's a mismatch to him. He's mismatching everybody. In some ways, we can make the argument our big three is a mismatch for anybody they play because nobody's stopping them in the ways that they do their powers. Brandon Ingram's not getting stopped. We've seen people stop RJ when he wants to go to the basket and lay it up. Scottie Barnes can be very overpowering, and he can be very hard to stop too. That's interesting because, we get Scottie and say, you go take care of Giannis and stop him. We can stop this team pretty good. But how the hell do you plan for the Raptors? You need to stop RJ. You need to stop Scottie. You need to stop Brandon. Oh, and let's not even worry about Emmanuel. But when Emmanuel wakes up and he starts playing better with shooting better, oh, hell, it's going to be big problems for everybody. And let's get Yak healthy and see what happens too. Seriously. That's the thing, man. It's like they're all mismatches. How the hell do you deal with this? Doc Rivers doesn't know. He had no plan for it last night. That's for damn sure. That's right. Kareem Thomas is here. Good to see Kareem Thomas, our dunk champion. Most complete game this season. One thing I caught was Shed's halftime interview. He said the team gets going when Barnes is going. I found it interesting. He pointed out Barnes. He's the fuel to the fire. Well, he's the leader. He's the franchise face. He is the guy, and there may be a manufactured debate in social media. Once again, this is where scarcity mindset jumps in and says there will only be one leader. RJ's the leader. It's not Scottie. RJ's the leader. Why do people do this? They just want to cause conflict. They're not people that want good things for the Raptors. They don't want things to be healthy. So they can make up a debate. Who's the true leader of the team? Who cares? Scottie's the face of the franchise. There is a true hierarchy, and everybody respects it. There's nothing wrong with this. In some ways, Brandon Ingram doesn't want to necessarily be the franchise face because in some ways, much like Ja Morant, he doesn't necessarily want to be the full leader of the team. You can get that energy from Brandon, right? But he does want to be a veteran, respected leader on the team as a voice. He does want to have a say, but he doesn't want to be the El Capitan number one, does he? No. RJ Barrett has been very clear publicly what his role and what he's doing in Toronto is, and he has no problem with Scott being in charge. I don't know why Redditors and people on social media can't get this and just be like, yeah, this is how it is. Scottie is the king. Scottie is in charge. Scottie is the franchise face. Scottie is the captain. As Jamal said at halftime, we go as Scottie goes. And Scottie says, we got to go because we follow our leader. He's a great leader to have because honestly, like I said, Scottie shows up on the shadow box score. I just read the stats for him on the box score, but on the shadow box score, he's racking up stuff all over the place too. And that may be deflections. That may be certain defensive threatening in certain ways that changes the direction of the Bucks offense. That could be a hustle play where he hit the ground to get a ball. That could be in just a little bit of encouragement advice for somebody like Grady Dick or somebody to help them, or a defensive adjustment while they're in waiting for a free throw to be shot, and communication and organizing everyone. There's a lot in the shadow box score that Scottie's adding the game. That's not just the stats we always take in the game, the steals, the blocks, the rebounds, the points. There's other stats that Scott's getting. And some of those stats are not stats that a lot of franchise players want to go and get. They say, nah, this blue-collar guy who's on my team, Beef Stew, he'll go do it. Nah, man, I'm LeBron. You expect me to do shadow box stuff? No, bro. No, man, I'll do the big stats that I get acclaim for. And forget about any of the hard work that nobody gets any credit for. See, that's why you want Scott to be your leader, is because he's that kind of leader that fills up the shadow box score, not just the regular box score. And that's why we should be so happy. And that's why Masai said he did the hardest part when he drafted Scottie. When they got Scottie on our team, that was the hardest thing and the hardest person to find. He knew because he's trying to get Giannis for years. That's the hardest part, landing the player like Giannis, getting your Scottie. And he did it. He did it. Thank you, Ujiri. We love you every day. Ujiri forever. Fuck you, Keith Pelly, and your bullshit. That's right. Yeah, that's right. All right, let's keep going. Let's see. Kareem saying also, Mamu continues to impress me. I wasn't familiar with his game. Even when I thought I knew, he still succeeds that all we need is any two guys off our bench to put up good numbers, and this team will be okay. The thing I'm really liking right now, and this is the hallmark of a really good playoff team, and this is something that is really boding well, is that we're starting to show depth and specialization where, people are getting upset that Jameson's not playing right now. It's crazy. Raptors fans, chill out. Once again, this is all that matters. If Jameson doesn't play, that doesn't matter. It's not like we're making the whole team around Jameson. Y'all get all crazy with certain players, and you're like, Chris Boucher, he hasn't been playing. Y'all overimportance, and you feel like everybody deserves this and this and this. Bullshit. This is a hard league. Everything is hard to get in some ways. And it's not that Jameson doesn't deserve it, but in some ways it's like, look, part of the abundance we're talking about is building a whole bunch of people up and having the luxury of a plethora of talent in different kinds of shapes and sizes that can help you in different ways in different situations. The best teams in the history of the NBA were deep and had role players, deep and had options. And if they had issues with injuries, like these teams we played recently, like the Cavs and the Grizzlies, they had people coming up, next man up, and they were taking care of things. And there was no decline in quality, even with a main player out. I would say this, the Raptors are really shored up in some ways. Sure, we've seen a weakness with Yak in the center position. I'd still like Bobby to fill that spot, that empty roster spot with a big. so that we have a little bit more insurance at that position. But even within this crisis of getting double rebounded by a couple teams from Texas recently, we weathered this storm and we actually fixed things before Yak came back with our defense and our rebounding. That's very promising. So listen, depth is always a luxury and it's amazing to have. And the Raptors are built like a team that has very useful players very deep into their roster. And that's a really good foreshadowing for how successful we can be this year. Because listen, like I said, I don't believe in the Bucks. I don't think they'll be a top Eastern team at the end of the year because they don't have enough gas in the tank to run the whole 82 at a high level and do what they need to do. They were tired last night. Well, they're going to be even more tired when it gets to February. And Giannis has been carrying that team on his shoulders for months. So I'm just saying, it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. And every overreaction to our 1-4 record, every overreaction to this and this, because this team is doing so well already, it's not a marathon, it's a sprint. It's not a sprint, it's a marathon. We got a long season and a lot of time and a lot of things to happen. And some ways it's about being tough and being able to go through the season with depth and the ability to win games in different ways and different days because different things are set in front of you. So we're in really good position, guys. We really, really are. Now, God willing, we stay as healthy as possible. And that'll be a big key to it, too. That's right. Mamu's been fantastic, Kareem, hasn't he? I feel like he's just such a personality. One thing I will say is I don't know if he's exactly taken to the team as deeply as he could yet. Because before, his connection with his teammates was very deep. And I worry. I want these Raptors to really connect deeply with Sandro. Maybe I'm totally off base because I have no idea what they're like in the locker room or on the plane or just behind closed doors. But I want Mamu to have this kind of riz to him, this aura to him like he has before with the Bucks and the Spurs. You know, I feel like it's building with the fans. That connection with him and the fans is really important from those other places. But I want to see it really come out in the court too. And I want to see him like really share joy with his teammates. And I want to see those bonds and connections because I still feel like it's a little early and they're not as deeply connected as they could be. And they're going to move towards that even more. I could see that. Yeah. But he's saying all the right things. He's a real pro. And I love his attitude. And he really did prop up his teammates in his post-game interview last night, especially Colin and Scottie. Yeah, he was really talking up those guys last night. Let's see. Kareem Thomas is saying this. It's still early. Hang on a sec. It jumped. It's still early. Hang on. Now, wow. I'd love to see how you guys filled it up. It's still early, but when Darko figures out the rotation after this starting five, this team can be dangerous. We have way too many skilled players. I love collecting W's in the midst of figuring it out. Well, that's the whole thing that we're going to try and do is like, you know, it's best if we don't get lackadaisical because we win too much. We really have to stay hungry. And that's kind of what Sandro said after the game. He's like, look, I'm not taking this for granted that I'm going to continue to play every game. In fact, I don't want to get rest on my laurels and say, oh, I've got this now. I've achieved this. No, he says, just like I've heard RJ say it too, they have to earn it every single day. And Darko's telling them that, and they're following that direction. That what keeps them hungry. That what keeps them on their toes and not getting lazy. Is that, you know, Sandro understands he's getting to play every game right now. But when that reporter asked him about that, Doug Smith, he said, I don't take that for granted that I'm going to get to play every game. I have to go out there and bust my ass every single time and earn it every single time. And that's important. That's very, very important. I'm telling you, this is a competitive team. You know, you're seeing people like Oshai didn't get in the game last night, really, until garbage time. That's a Baji. And at the end of the game, do you see the garbage lineup we had out there? The garbage time lineup? Not the garbage lineup, but the garbage time lineup. The team out there was like 3 or 4 of those guys were starting for us a big majority of the year last year. And Grady Dick, Oshai Abaji, Jacoby Walter, and Jonathan Mobo. These guys were playing garbage time for last night. They were the end of the bench to play in our garbage time. Meanwhile, those guys were starting last year for the Raptors at times. Is that a testament to how deep we are right there? Is that all right? The starters and the main rotation just got done. Let's get the guys out there that need to get time. Oh, it's Grady, it's Jacoby, it's Jonathan and Oshai. How many games did those 4 guys start last year for the Raptors? Look at the luxury of that. Look at how deep we are. Think about what I just said. Seriously. Seriously. They were playing the garbage time. Then normally the garbage time would be our two ways and guys just trying to make the team or something like that. No. Look at how quality our garbage time players were last night. And that's the end of our bench. We got it like that. I'm telling you, we got it like that. It's crazy, man. James is saying this. Our best three players score in different ways. Scottie post-ups and finishing. RJ driving and spot up. 3-pointers. And Ingram, 3-level ISO score. It's good to have diversity. Yeah. Diversity is strength. DEI works. Because listen, there's people that are diverse that have been held down in a system that's systemically racist, and they have not gotten opportunities. And DEI was always just a level playing field. It wasn't a prop up. It wasn't a ladder up. It wasn't here, I'm handing you this because you're a person of color. No, it was always just letting the level playing field be there for everybody to go and get the job. And whoever the best candidate was, go get it. That's the thing. Diversity is a strength. Toronto is one of the strongest places in the world because it's one of the most diverse places in the world because we have people from all walks of life that have different experience. And when we share our experience and we come together and we work together, we are all stronger for it. That's why the other side won't win. It's because, you know what? This is the other thing people don't realize. In the history of the world, fascist movements have the stupidest people, the worst people, the dumbest people, the most inept people. That's why they never work. The Nazi party was one of the stupidest parties in the world. They made mistakes left and right because you know what? Most good people are good people and they don't gravitate towards hate and evil and genocide and subjugating people needlessly in stupid ass fucking ways like ICE agents are doing in the United States. The worst people come to those things and they're out of shape and they're dumb and they're low IQ and they're racist and they're idiots and they're easy to fool and they're easy to beat. That's why I have a lot of confidence in what we're going to do, y'all, because we have the smarter side. We have the diverse side. We have more weapons. We have more power. We have more people because we are the right side. And their side is a bunch of miserable white supremacists who are fucking low IQ, overweight. Yeah, they try to get more of these people. Like they would love to hire ICE agents like crazy right now, but they can't because nobody wants to join them, first of all, because they know they're Nazis. And second of all, everybody that does want to join them are low IQ incels. They're overweight from their mom's basement, and they can't fucking even pass the physical requirements to be an ICE agent. I'm telling you right now, diversity wins and will win every single time. And it's going to win in this biggest fight in this world today. I'm telling you right now. That's right. That's right. Anybody who's anti-DEI, you're weakening yourself immediately by your stance. And that's why the other side is going to beat your ass. That's right. That's right. That's right. Let's go. Let's go. All right, here we go. Because this is the thing, right? Randy Macho Man Savage said the cream rises to the top. Well, there's a lot of good people that were diverse that didn't get a chance because doors were slammed in their face. And all DEI is opening all the doors and letting the best person win. The best person get the job. And whether it's a person of color, whether it's a woman, whether it's a man, whether they're from this country, whether that doesn't matter. We just want the best people in the positions, right? And I'll tell you for damn sure right now, the American government is the anti-DEI government. Yeah, because you see just inept how everybody is in all their jobs and every facet of the U.S. government right now that Trump has selected. Because these are the worst people to be doing their jobs. And that's anti-DEI. If you want the best people, you have DEI. Because you find the best people from all walks of life. And you give the best job. And if that person's a white male, you give that job to the white male. If that person is a black female, you give that job to a black female. That's what this has been all along, idiots that have been anti-DEI, is that we just wanted a level playing field for people that were subjugated to more hurdles and not abilities to get to places. So we'll just lay it all out for y'all right there. I'm sorry, I'm going a little tangent. We'll keep going. We'll keep going. That's right. I love it, man. All right, 100%. That's right. That's right. All right, let's see. Seymour Pape saying this. I predicted an 18-point win, not a 28. Good thing I don't bet. Yeah, good thing you don't. Bet on yourself, Seymour. Call me 4 quarters if you want to, and we can talk a little bit more about your job offer. But yeah, this is great. I mean, I didn't want to get cocky and say, yeah, we're going to rout the Bucks, but I had a good feeling we're going to beat them last night. I mean, these guys are keeping track of shit. If a team's going to beat them and they don't want to feel that loss, well, we had receipts. Like I said, we had receipts. In some ways, I hate the idea of us losing our home opener. In some ways, the team should be like, we're playing for the fans. This is our home court. This is Canada. Defend the North. This is RJ's house. Let's go and defend the house. But we let our home opener lose. And that's no good. I don't like that action. No. In some ways, we had to make up for that last night. And hey, a 28-point lead is fantastic. That's right. Seymour's saying, mark my words, we're going to the big dance. This team is easily playoff bound. Oh, for sure. For sure. And knock on wood, no injuries. But also on the same token, if there is a major injury, just one, we are going to be fine weathering it. Seriously, we just can't have a whole bunch of guys hurt all at once. If we've got like one or two guys hurt here and there throughout the season, we are going to be fine. In fact, that could be very healthy for a team because that allows opportunities for guys who are in the rotation to step up and develop and get more opportunities to be successful, gain confidence, and it just makes us better. So I'm just saying, next man up. And even, we don't want injuries. Obviously, we don't. But if there are some, I feel like we will weather them better than most teams will. And we could look at what the Cavs put out on the court against us last Friday, and you can see, wow, they missed a couple of those guys, and look where they get to, scraping the bottom of the barrel there. Luke Travers. Okay, that guy, I don't want to diss that guy, man, Australian Joe Dirt. But I'm just saying, there's differences here. There's differences. Let's see. Randolph is here. Good to see Randolph Phillips. Raptors won. Blessings, beloved Raptor Freaks family. What brings you joy? Let that be those things that's positive, good, and productive. Never be driven by the failures of others. That's the thing, man. The other thing is like a secret to success is just focusing on yourself. Seriously, like don't try and critique and control other people. Don't try and gauge yourself by other people. Comparison is the thief of happiness. You are your own path. And you are your own individual, and we're all very different. And if you're comparing your life to other people, you're going to be miserable because it's never going to be right. They're going to show their best side, and you won't see the darkness that they deal with. And you'll be comparing yourself to their ideal self. And it's not fair to you. And it's also not fair to them. In some ways, you risk like your person you're competing with is as cheesy as it sounds, is the person you were yesterday. You just got to be 1% better. You got to try harder and just be a better person every day. And what Randolph and Trevor say to me all the time is just be a better, positive person, full of love and light and giving light and goodness to other people and helping them out and partnership and community and grassroots and all kinds of ways. In some ways, the tough times bring people together and they start actually looking out for each other. So if that's a positive byproduct of any kind of bullshit that's coming towards us right now, I will take it because that's the kind of stuff that's going to win it for us in the end is the light and the love and the positivity that we all shine from us. Don't buy into the hate. It's as simple as what George Lucas wrote in Star Wars. Don't give into the hate, Luke. Don't listen to the Emperor and Darth Vader and that bullshit, even if he's your dad. You keep on the right side of the Force and stay on the light side of the Force and use your powers for good because it's easy for hate to envelop you and take you like Sidious wants. You don't have to do that. Everybody in your own life. Choose love, choose light, choose positivity. Blessings to the Phillips family, all the Raptor Freak families. That's right. That's right. Nako's saying Giannis doesn't complain much. Well, this is what Doc said. All right, listen. And I get this because it's true. Giannis is a high-level player that gets a lot of contact from other teams because he's hard to stop. And he does get fouled. He does get fouled. Now, most of the time, Giannis has a certain level of contact that he'll take, and it'll be like, yeah, but this is just the NBA, and this is expected. Now, and I get this, and in some ways, I get Doc's point. Giannis, I don't think does complain more than the average player of his stature. I'm sure Luka and LeBron complain way fucking more than Giannis does. Let's just put it that way. And I think that's what Doc's saying. It's like basically he's telling the refs last night, if Giannis is complaining to you about the fouls, there's probably a problem with the fouls because he's not normally complaining to the refs about the fouls. That's what Doc's whole point is. Naga's saying this, Scottie was on fire, probably the best quickly game this season. All right, let's go look at Emmanuel real quick. We'll dissect this. Is Emmanuel quickly playing bad or not? A lot of people are saying he's playing bad right now. 26 minutes for Emmanuel, 15 points. He had a little bit more easy scoring with Jakob out there. He did. I wish he's very shying away from anything 10 feet in. That's the thing I'm noticing. In some ways, I wish he would get more open lanes and layup opportunities because in some ways he's playing with footsteps in his ear and he's not trying to be aggressive to finish. And I love driving to the lane, but he's going to get telegraphed too quickly that he's not driving to score. He's driving to pass or driving to dribble through. So he's got to keep them guessing. It's tough though, because it is true. Finishing at the basket, he does get stopped and he's not totally effective or efficient at that. And part of the reason why he'll pass out or he'll dribble through is because he knows that he doesn't have the shot when he gets down near right under the hoop. So I don't know. In some ways, that's an aspect of his game that could be improved is his finishing in traffic with people around him. But it's tough because he's a smaller guy and there's taller people around him and they're usually stronger. So it's a tough thing he has to gauge in some ways. But yeah, 15 points for Emmanuel, 6 rebounds for a guard. That's fantastic, y'all. That's, and that's some ways that's kind of like forget about what he's doing scoring wise or shooting wise. He's getting us 6 rebounds, 8 rebounds, 7 rebounds a game, guys, as the point guard. And then he got 7 assists, guys, and he had 1 turnover. And he had the same assist to turnover ratio as the team, basically 7-1 assist to turnover ratio. That's right. We got 7 assists to like 1 turnover as a team. I'm pretty sure that's what that final stat was. Let me check it for sure. It was 33-9. So you do the math. What is that? That's like a 3.5 to 1 ratio. So he was double that. He was 7-1 on the assist to turnover ratio. And that honestly, there's only like a couple stats that should matter for Emmanuel. I mean, if he's Emmanuel making shots and taking a lot of shots, well, his 3 points made and the percentage on his 3-pointer shots is probably important. But if he's going to be more role player, point guard, distributor, Emmanuel, we're looking at his assist to turnover ratio. We're looking at that. And maybe we'll look at like the field goal percentage of the team as a whole, because those are kind of the benchmarks to check and see if Emmanuel's playing good as a point guard. And 7-1 assist to turnover ratio is fantastic. So I don't see any problem here. He got to the line and he made all 3 of his free throws. He was 2 of 7 from 3, 5 of 15 from the field, shooting 33%. That's not the most efficient shooting, but he's taking shots. He's active. And as Darko said after the game, Emmanuel's not doing anything wrong. He's playing very high-level defense too right now that he's very, very happy with. He's very happy with Quickly's defense, guys. So once again, this is a manufactured issue, manufactured topic in social media and media spaces, as Darko called out last night. And the importance of Emmanuel Quickly is stupid and silly right now. He will shoot better at some point, and it'll be looking way better. You'll see it. You'll see it. Yeah. Yeah, let's see. Seymour saying this 4-hour driving to BC. Going to check this job opportunity out Friday. Pushback Sunday. If I can do it, you can do it too. There you go. There you go. You're going to drive 4 hours to BC? That's fun, man. I love driving. Adriana surprised me yesterday and came over to my house to watch the game with me last night, which was a really, really joyous surprise. But I had to drive her back after the game. And, she lives an hour from me. So it's like a 2-hour drive for me to drive her there and back. And I just enjoyed it, man. It was such a beautiful night last night. I was feeling so good after the win. I was feeling so good with Sandy Brondello getting hired. And I was feeling really good from hearing about the election results in the United States. A lot of good things happened yesterday on Election Day, even though criminals tried to impede the democratic process of the American people. They still came out in droves and they did the right decisions. And there was an overwhelming blue wave yesterday. Thank God. Almost everything that was voted on was a vote against Trump. And thank God. Mondini did win the New York mayor race. And thank you, people of New York, for doing that. This is a huge sign of good faith that the American democracy still can survive MAGA and their totalitarian wishes. So, we need to continue doing this. This is not over. You guys got to go all the way through. And you know what? I don't think this is through until you guys have criminalized everybody who's been a part of this whole thing. You need to go a step further than what you did about January 6th. And you need to really establish a system that safeguards you guys from anybody ever trying to do what this guy has done in this last year to your country. Seriously, you need to safeguard your system because your democracy is broken if your constitution is not being adhered to by felon criminal who's in the White House. So you guys are going to have to overcorrect for this shit. And in some ways, you're going to have to maybe do some things that people may be like, whoa, that's not exactly right. But no, we need to safeguard democracy, freedom, and the right for us to continue our system without somebody trying to dismantle it and become a wannabe Hitler. So this is a good sign, the first step, but there's so much more work in the United States. And you guys got to vote like this for a while, and you have to really change your system when you get the chance with the people in power. In some ways, it's much better to do this in a bloodless, non-violent way through the system than the other way. And if you guys can do it, I don't totally have faith that you can this way still, because people are not adhering to law and criminals don't follow laws. And that's what people say about the gun control debate. Well, criminals in the White House don't follow the Constitution or laws either. And it's a similar damn thing as the gun control thing. Well, the criminals don't follow the gun laws. Why should we follow these gun laws or have them? Yeah. See, that's the problem. You can't have a criminal running your country like Putin or Trump. But you got to get them out. You got to rebuke them, and you got to safeguard your system so that shit can't happen again. Because trust me, if Trump gets kicked out or he dies or he's not in charge anymore, they're going to have the next person pop up like a mushroom, JD Vance, and they're going to try and run him like that too. You got to overhaul the system, and you may need to get rid of the Supreme Court justices that are in there, and you may need to add more, honestly, if you're really going to fix this country in the United States. Because listen, the template and the blueprint for how to become a wannabe dictator has been laid out by these fucking piece of shit MAGA people. And, Project 2025 this year was very successful because nobody really got in their way. And it showed that the system the United States has is not, if it's not respected, if it's not followed by the Constitution, then it's in real danger. So this stuff is really important. This may be some of the most important things in our entire lifetime, what I'm talking about right now. Yeah. All right, let's see. I love driving, though. It was beautiful. The moon is so full last night, and it was so lit up. And driving through the green belt of Ontario in the middle of the night, listening to 80s music, like cranked up high. I'm listening to Whitesnake. I'm like, still in the night, honey. I'm like bruising down. I got ZZ Top's Sharp Dressed Man on. Every girl's crazy about a sharp. And I'm like, dun, dun, dun. I'm just like burning up the truck. I'm like tearing it up out in the green belt in my truck, just like in the middle of the night after I dropped Adrienne off. And I'm just like, yeah, life is good. The Raptors routed the Bucks. Sandy is our coach. And the U.S. Made a good day in the election day. Woo-wee! What? Trifecta. I love it. Yeah. And I'm driving around in the moonlight, listening to good 80s music, some hair metal, stuff like that. It's like, I got your mindset on you. Yeah, I'm listening to all the corny shit too. Fiercely say this. Good morning, fam, and happy Wednesday. Scottie was phenomenal and deserved the chain. This time, him flexing was definitely apropos. Yes, Scott. And I'm glad we came to this subject from Fiercely. Thank you, MJ. Thank you for supporting the channel as a member. Yeah, Scottie, you did it right last night. The flex was at the right timing. We had a huge lead. We were on our way to win, and it was understated, but it was right. He did it right at Nav Bhatia. Nav was sitting there, and Scottie just put it up. And I think Nav actually filmed a little thing that Raptors admin used or something like that. But yeah, it was perfect. It was perfect. We saw Giannis flex last night too. He had a little flex earlier in the game. But yeah, it didn't come off weird. It didn't come off like it was like, why are you doing this? It was appropriately timed, and it was very well done. And I kudos to you. See, I'm not against you flexing, Scott. It's just don't flex it when we're losing. That was awesome, man. That was awesome. Yeah, Cool Cat's here too. Good morning, Coach. Good morning to you. G saying this. Ingram is so crafty and finesse. RJ is so bully, and Scottie is a bit of both. Yeah, I mean, they're very different players in all kinds of different ways. And I think that they really do enjoy playing with each other. Like Scottie and RJ have such an interesting chemistry. They really do. The weird thing is the evolution of their relationship. They're both Montverde guys, and they've known each other for a while. Like Scottie played against RJ. In some ways, he was a rival. In some ways, RJ was like an early test for Scott as a young person because RJ was older than him. And he had to face him in kind of like prep school basketball when they were teenagers. And in some ways, he was the enemy. In some ways, I know Scott had this energy with RJ because he kind of talked about him a bit on Twitch once and saying this, like, yeah, I used to go against RJ. He was on the other team. And like, we weren't on the same team at Mount Verde because we were at different times. But I did have to play against RJ. So there's a weird kind of like thing where like it's kind of like Karate Kid and Cobra Kai. You know what I mean? Like with Ralph Macchio and the other guy, the blonde guy, they become friends to go against the other guy because the other guy's even worse. And in some ways, it's like Scottie and him were kind of adversaries in their early teens, but now they're on the same team, and there's a really strong mutual respect because of that kind of a dynamic with those guys. And RJ's never had a problem with Scott, but they're competitors. And when they were younger, they did butt heads, and they did in some of that prep school action. So it's kind of interesting to see where they're at this point. And there is a really natural, because they're both super talented and aware and very much telegraphers on the court. There's a really interesting natural synergy with them with their passing. And actually the way they catch passes off each other is really impressive. Like sometimes Scott will throw that ball so full court and RJ's under the basket. Like he's not even in a really good spot to catch it. And he catches it like a receiver and then backs into the guy and throws it up over his head in the lay-in like that. That's really high level shit. And like the passing, the threading of the passes between Barnes and Barrett is really high level. The way that they come in transition and like Scottie will thread the needle and RJ will catch the ball in stride and throw it down. I mean, there's a really special synergy and connection between Barnes and Barrett, guys. And it was instant too. It was like they had it right away. It's like it's not totally it's developed yet. It can go even deeper in a major crazy way, but it was there immediately. And I love it. You can tell that in some ways, because you know how it is if you play basketball. If you play on a team with somebody that you just gel naturally with and you have fun playing with, that is really good feeling. Like you're like, man, I love playing with that dude, man. He makes all the threes. Like I'll go in the lane, I'll kick it out, and boom, he's money for a bucket from outside. We just have a good synergy. Well, in some ways, that's fun to play with. And I'm sure that Scottie really enjoys playing with RJ. And I know RJ is of deep respect for the skills of Scott and respect for him as a leader. And of course, he enjoys playing with Scottie. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's very interesting. Very, very interesting stuff. Let's see. Coolcat saying, congrats on the dub. Slow and steady growth for our young players. Yeah, 1% every day. In some ways, don't gauge ourselves by what other people are perceiving us to be. We know internally what we're doing, and we have our goals, and we have our plans, and we're executing. And we're going to be fine. In fact, you guys can see the promise. Now, we're bound to go on a 5-game road trip where we're going to see 5 teams from the East in a row at their houses. And I feel really good. I want to win 4 out of the 5. I mean, it may be 3 out of 5, which I'm fine with either. I want to win more than we lose, obviously. And I say, if we can get 4 out of 5, that's ideal. But if we get 3 out of 5, I'll be happy too. And these games I really do feel like we're going to win on Friday against Atlanta in Atlanta. We beat them in Atlanta already in the first game of the season. And they are missing Trae Young now. And in some ways, this is an in-season tournament game. So we have to get really up for it the next game on Friday night. But I feel like we should get that one. Now, the next night, we're going to Philadelphia. And Joel Embiid is healthy, and he's been playing, and they are playing pretty well. They have a good record. That may be a tough game. That may be one of the games we lose. We'll have to see. Maybe we'll get up for Nick, though, and the Sixers. And we'll want to kick the Sixers' ass pretty bad on Saturday night. Well, we'll have to see. Once again, we are on the second night of a back-to-back, and it's a road back-to-back where we're going from Atlanta to Philly. Although that is not a super bad distance, trust me. You know, that's a Comcast commute. That's what they'll call it. Because Comcast is headquartered in Philadelphia, but a huge office is in Atlanta. And my brother used to work for Comcast. So he used to have to travel from Atlanta to Philly all the time. And it's not that bad because it's a pretty quick little hop. It's like a very short plane ride. So the back-to-back travel from Atlanta to Philly is not the worst, although they probably still get in really late. And then they would play in Brooklyn. And that was funny what Jack Armstrong was saying, because he's going to work the Philly game and Albin's going to work the Brooklyn game. And Matt was like, well, Albin's going to be in Philadelphia, Jack. And then he's like, you're not going to be in Brooklyn. Well, you're going to the Bills game, Jack. So don't worry about it. But yeah, it's kind of funny that they flipped hometowns and they'll be working the other games. But that Brooklyn game, we damn for sure better win. They haven't won yet, Jordy. I feel so bad for Jordy. He said publicly recently that he can't get these guys to do what he wants them to do. He's trying to tell them to do, but he's just, in some ways, Jordy Fernandez is throwing his hands up right now with the Nets already this season because he can't get these players to just do the effort or do anything. It's sad. It's just one of those situations where if you don't have leadership and people aren't totally bought in, and you're already losing all kinds of stuff. It's so hard to start building stuff from that. And he's at that right now. It's not like Michael Porter Jr. is the right leader for that franchise. So, yeah, I feel bad for Jordy. We should absolutely kick the Brooklyn Nets ass next Tuesday when we play them in Brooklyn. And then we got the Cavs again in Cleveland. That's a game that they're going to want some payback. And they're going to be probably having more health this time around. They'll probably have a couple of guys that they didn't have the first time we played them in the in-season tournament game. And they're going to want payback. That may be the other game, like Philly, that we lose. So if we can win either the Philly game or the Cleveland game on this road trip, that'll be huge. That'll be huge. And then Indiana at the end of it. Indiana's been struggling. They've been hurt. We should kick their ass also. So I think it's very realistic to at least get 3 out of 5. If not, get 4 out of 5 on this 5-game road trip we're just about to start. So, yeah, I'm excited about it. Let's keep going. Fiercely saying this. My 5 stars were Scottie, B.I., RJ, Big Yak, and Mamu. Yeah, okay. Special mention to IQ and Grady, who are gradually getting back to what we expect from them. I'm rooting for them. Thank you also, Shet. Yeah, let me do the rest of the box score real quick. We did Emmanuel. Pirtle, 20 minutes, 8 points. He got 9 rebounds, including 3 offensive rebounds. He was way better on the boards. Like in the first couple of games of the season, Pirtle's back was not allowing him to rebound for some reason. They asked him in the interview, is this back problem hurting you in your regular life? And he's like, no, not really. It's the kind of thing that flares up when I get into intense physical activity and like hitting people and like strength and stuff. But he said the big thing from last night was that he was able to maintain his strength throughout the game than the minutes that he played. Of course, he was on a minutes restriction. He only played 20 minutes, but he felt good about the level of strength that he was able to maintain against the opponents throughout that period. And he did have a little bit of pain from the game last night, but nothing too bad. But it's really activated from the shoving, the pushing, and the strength that he has to exert out his body in the NBA game. He's not suffering in his everyday life, though. And that's what he told people. 9 rebounds, 3 offensive, and 4 of 6 shooting. And yeah, he was even. He didn't have a plus minus. He was even. So yeah, it's a very kind of humdrum, solid thing. But the good signs about it is he's moving better. And that rebounds looked really good last night with him. Now, hopefully he'll start making more offense and he'll get some more shot blocks, stuff like that. Off the bench, Jamison Battle late in the garbage minutes. This is the luxury. 5 minutes, he got 2 points and an assist and shot 1 for 2. Colin Murray-Boyles coming off the bench, and this is how it is. And like I told James, you get paid the level of where you're going to start. And Colin is not getting paid more than Jakob. So Jakob comes back to the lineup. He's the starter, and Colin comes off the bench as our rookie. And 15 minutes for him. He only got 1 basket. He got 1 rebound and 1 turnover, +8, though, regardless. 1 for 3 from the field. It was just like a game where Colin, you know what? This is sometimes going to happen. You're going to be in the mix. You're not always going to be a paramount person right in the front. And in some ways, we're going to need you to be a role player off the bench and do big man rebounding stuff as a backup to the guys, too. Because this is the thing, is the NBA. Like I said, what was given to you today is not promised tomorrow. And you have to be like Sandro. You got to go and earn it over and over again to keep it. That's what I'm saying. Mobo got in the game. And, he got in because Scott had to go to the back. Michael Grange making a big deal out of Scottie going the back in the press conference last night. In fact, he had to write an article about it today. He was so worried about Scottie. One thing we got to remember about Scott is he over emotes. Everything he does on the court, he puts a little extra into it. So if Sky's going, in some ways he is hurt, but he's also a person that feels things and expresses it very expressively. He's an emotive person. So half the time, I know our breath goes, oh no. We all go, oh shit, I hope Sky's not that hurt. You see him holding his hand and running and going to the back like this. Everybody freaks out, sure. But also I'd be like, hold up, y'all. First of all, you got to watch it from if you have the right aptitude and a history of watching injuries in the NBA, you can kind of suss out things as they're happening and know what to look for as far as the severity of injuries. And I knew he wasn't that hurt when he went to the back for a few reasons. And I knew he was going to come back and he was going to be fine. But some people in our chat were freaking out. I obviously people at home watching the game were probably freaking out and stuff like that. But I'm like, come on, y'all. Realize that there's a track record with Scottie, that he's very expressive. And anything that happens with him, he's exaggerated a little bit. It may be that he really does feel that pain that strongly at that time. But just remember this with him, that he's the kind of person that really, I don't want to call it a drama queen, and it's not really the right word for this. It's just that he's demonstrative. He's emotive. He's very bigger than life with some of his reactions, whether it's a bad call with the ref, like this and stuff like that. That we just got to understand that's part of his personality and who he is. And that sometimes when it looks like he's gotten hurt, it'll look worse than it is, partly because of this aspect of him. So realize that. But Michael Grange wanted to make a big deal out of it. He wrote a whole Sportsnet article this morning. Michael saying Scottie gets hurt and everybody's drops they hold their breath and they freak out and get all upset about it. He even asked the questions to the players last night, like Sandro. He said, "Did you get scared when Scottie went to the back and he was hurt?" No, Sandro's like, Scottie's tough. He's a good guy. He's going to be fine. He came back. He's our leader. He came back and he played great. It's like these people live on different planets than the players and the coach, the negative ninnies, the media heads, the social media warriors, the keyboard idiots. I think Jack even cracked on them. It's like, what do these people know? Like, what Jack said last night? He said, the people in the studio, Kia and Leo, are the experts. They played in the NBA and the WNBA. They are professional players. They're legends. They know basketball, and they know basketball better than the guy who's sitting in the basement on the keyboard on social media. Exactly. And I love Jack that said that. Jack said that. They know their ball better. But Scottie gets hurt. He goes out, and Jonathan comes in. Yeah, don't do no Jonte, Scottie, just to get more games played for Jonathan. I'll say that because it seems like this could be an activation for your friend Mobo. It's like all of a sudden, Scottie has to go to the locker room. Well, we better get Jonathan to come in and take the minutes that Scottie misses while he's in the locker room. So Mobo got a little bit extra time, partly because of that. But 7 minutes for him. He had 2 rebounds, 2 assists also. I love seeing Mobo get assists because he really is like a baby Scottie, because he can do a lot of what Scottie can do. Not on the same level, but he is that versatile kind of all-around guy. It's really weird how Mobo and Scottie have the same kind of player mind. They really do. They really do. Jonathan, yeah, he was even. He 2 fouls on him. Not a whole lot there. Oshai, very much out of the rotation last night, but found his way in the game in garbage time. 5 minutes for Oshai Abaji. He only took 1 shot. He missed it. Nothing else in the stat sheet. Shed, the backup point guard, 5 points last night with 2 rebounds, 8 assists, and 1 turnover. So both are point guards together, 15 and 2 assist to turnover ratio. 15 and 2, 15 assists from Quickly and Shed with only 2 turnovers, 1 each. And I don't care if Jamal got 1 more assist than Emmanuel. 8 and 7 assists for both those 2 guys, respectfully, is awesome. It's very, very good. He also got 2 steals. Shed was 1 for 4 from the field, though, and 1 of 3 from 3. Made both his free throws. A plus 17 also. Yeah, Shed's awesome, man. He's a really steady backup, and in some ways, he's doing the right things for what we need on the nightly basis of what we need. Jacoby Walter got out there, and he got some points last night. 11 minutes for Jacoby, 8 points, 3 rebounds, and 1 turnover. He shot 2 of 3 from the field. He got 1 of 2 at the free-point line, and he made all of his free throws. Jacoby's just solid. Once again, Jacoby's unheralded. In some ways, we're maybe overlooking him, but he's just playing solid ball. The effort is absolutely there. The defensive stuff is absolutely there. And I love him stepping into making that 3 at that point. And yeah, he's going to be fine. He's a project. In some ways, he's working his way up, and he's going to be more and more important to the Raptors as time goes on. Watch, guys. He really will be. Yeah, DMP for Garrett. He's the only one who didn't get in last night. Yeah, he's the only one who didn't get in. Fiercely saying this: Doc Rivers out the wrong formations in that kid named Jackson always plays tough and disruptive against us. He should have been playing. Trent Jr. doing Trent Jr. things with minimal points. Gary started great. He came out shooting in that really interesting period of the first period where everybody's making threes. Nobody could miss. I was loving that. It's like, oh, we're making a three. Scottie makes a three. RJ makes a three. Then the other side, Gary made like 2 threes right at the beginning of the game and then didn't do jack shit for the rest of the game. It's almost like they went away from him or forgot about him. I also saw him lining up on the free throw line with Scottie, and they were palling around and they were talking a little bit of trash there for a second. But yeah, it was weird. Gary got 6 points, and both of those shots were right at the beginning of the game, and then nothing for Gary Trent Jr. for the Bucks after that. And I mean, we know as Raptors fans, having Gary on our team for a few years, that this can happen. This can happen. 6 points for Gary, 21 minutes, 2 rebounds, 4 assists. We'll give him credit for that. 1 turnover. Yeah, he was a -7. They went away from him. It was very, very weird. You're talking about Jackson? Who's Jackson? Andre Jackson? You mean the center guy that came in at the garbage time at the end of the game? Yeah, I don't know about him. But yeah, I don't remember Jackson that much. Like, he's a bit player. Somebody was saying he's starting center for them, but I'm like, no, it's Miles Turner. Yeah, on the other side, Giannis got held to 9 of 14 shooting, which is good shooting. He was a -8, 22 points in 24 minutes. That really were denying Giannis the ball at the beginning of the game, and that was really smart. He couldn't get into things. Scottie absolutely stymied Giannis for the first part until he came out. And then they switched Colin onto Giannis, and he let Giannis get his first 2 baskets almost immediately. And then we saw Mamu guarding Giannis to a degree also. And that was tough. That was very, very tough. But overall, a really good job on Antetokounmpo last night. And there was help from Ingram and Barrett that was coming to help with that too. So, yeah, really good stuff there. Kyle Kuzma woke up off the bench and shot 50% with 18 points and was their second leading scorer. So, yeah, Kuzma's a joke. Fiercely saying this, I will keep my comments for Sandy Brondella tomorrow. I'm still impressed from her presser. Wow. Yeah, for sure. And I'd love for you to call in tomorrow, and we can do it over the phone. Good morning to Mr. Roger Raymond, supporter of this channel. I appreciate him for being a member of this channel. Great day to you, Raptor freaks. Raptors are playing under control, and with Jakob Poeltl present, it certainly helps on defense and with Quickly. Yeah. And it wasn't even that he was a defensive presence in the way that we needed last night. Like, we know he can steal out and really protect the paint, but he wasn't really having to do that too much. I mean, it was really kind of stay at home. Like, he was really shadowing Miles Turner heavy last night. And when Miles comes out to hang out the three-point land, Yak was drawing himself out of the lane. And in some ways, I worry about that, especially with our defensive troubles in the 1-4 start. But it wasn't a big deal. And they're doing a really good job with how they're switching off each other and staying one-on-one. I think that the Raptors have a really good defensive philosophy right now. And they need to continue with it. Good to see you, Roger. Always good to see you, man. Seymour's saying, I'm more a fan of Trent Sr. Trent Jr. is a construction worker, nothing but bricks. Man, unnecessary shots fired. Listen, we love Gary. I'm all about Gary Trent, man. Once again, I want to put respect on the Trent name because they are our first ever legacy family in Raptors history. They are the first father and son duo to ever play for the Raptors. And in some ways, that's special and should be respected. And I've always loved Gary. Gary's a real one for Toronto. He has the 6 tattoo on him. I think he had the CN Tower tattoos on his body, unless he's changed it since he went to Milwaukee. But yeah, he really loves Toronto. You know, he feels like Toronto was where his dad got a good chance here. And he came here as a kid and he was in awe of this place. Toronto's an amazing city. And if you're young, when you first come here, you can really kind of have a really good impression of it being really like a wonderland. And that's how Gary sees our city, man. He may be from Columbus. He may reside in Minnesota, but Toronto is another home for him. And it always will be. He's good with us, man. He's good with us. But I get why you want to diss him, because he shoots bricks. Paul B's here, guys. Paul B is holding it down for us in the state of Wisconsin, where the Bucks play. And our Raptor freak over in the Wisconsin side of things with the Bucks over there. Let's see what he's saying this morning. Great win last night. I love seeing the Raptors play unselfish basketball and seeing the ball flying around the court to the open man. Yeah, that was beautiful, wasn't it, Paul? I hope you're doing fantastic. You and your family, everything's going good for you, my guy. Yeah, man, it's a joy to watch this kind of basketball, and it's fun to watch. And honestly, it's attractive. And hopefully, we get more highlights on NBA.com, and we get more eyes on our team because people are watching and they're like, man, the Raptors are actually really fun to watch. Really, really fun to watch because they are. And people hopefully will realize this more and more as the season goes on. Kareem saying this, Yaka put up a stat line of 8 points and 9 boards in 20 minutes. He was so impactful defensively, very minimal stats. Now, if we can get a similar player in height with a defensive-minded game, this Raptors team will be a completed team. We just want depth at that position, just in case we're missing somebody all of a sudden and we have more options. In some ways, you want to have 3 or 4 deep at each position, Bobby Webster. And in some ways, we don't have that at center exactly right. And I mean true centers. I'll count Mamu as one of them as true centers. So just get us one more true center, and then we'll have 3 true centers on our roster. We can't count Scottie and Mobo as centers. Don't count them as centers, please. Do not. That's right. G saying NBA IG even had a post on the Raptors ball movement. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, man. We're going to get noticed. Scottie, you play like this. Like some of the people in our media scrum are saying, you're playing defensive, defensive team level stuff right now. And in some ways, the way you're playing right now, and if our record's right, you're an all-star slam dunk this year. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Your stat line will get you there because it's the truth. People will look at it and they'll be like, oh, shit, look at what Scottie's doing, though. Yeah, he's an all-star. He'll be on the all-star team. And, well, we're making good cases for having 2 all-stars this year, at least 2 all-stars. I mean, there is an outside shot. We could get 3 because we got 3 guys averaging 20 points a game right now, and they're all averaging 5 assists too. It's crazy. It's very, very uncommon what the Raptors are doing with their stats, with those big 3 right now. It's not easy to do. You think about old teams like Run TMC with Tim Hardaway, Mitch Richmond, and Chris Mullin. They shared the ball and were able to be like this. But it's very, very hard to have that balance and have 3 20-point scorers on your team. It's very, very hard, but the Raptors are doing it. They got that balance. It's awesome. It's very, very awesome. Let's see. Seymour saying a title, The Coach's Dream. I love it. I love it. All right, let's see. Fiercely saying this. Kyle Kuzma is so weird. One moment he plays well. The next possession, you wonder what the hell. Doc Rivers got annoyed with him at some point. Yeah, he took an ill-advised shot in transition, and Doc Rivers just went crazy on the sideline. It was hilarious. It was so good. The refs were good last night. Let's do a little ref check-in, a ref report check-in. Giamidis and Brett Bernecki and our guy JT Orr. JT Orr was really cool. At the beginning of the game, I saw him palling around with Jamal Shed. That was cool. I think it was Jamal Shed. It was somebody JT Orr was palling around with. But yeah, JT was awesome. And, I felt like they were very fair. We saw a couple of a challenge go against the Milwaukee Bucks. They tried to challenge something and they didn't get it. And Giamidis was very he was very descriptive of why they didn't get it. He said very in depth, in detail, why the Bucks failed on their challenge. Yeah, the refs were pretty good last night. Honestly, I'm not upset. And Doc Rivers would complain about this after the game, saying that he's not totally happy with how the refs are calling fouls right now in the NBA. And Darko talked about it too. He said that he feels like there's a good balance right now. Because this is true. We know this from being on this channel. And a couple of years ago, the defense had their nuts chopped off. Like, you couldn't do anything on defense. It was so weighted towards offensive players and them getting to the line and calling fouls all the time that you couldn't literally not play defense in the NBA effectively. Well, they've switched it. They listened to the people. They got the customer cards from the Wendy's customer card box. And they said, oh, these people want more defense in the NBA. Adam Silver, what do we do? Okay, well, referees, we're going to call the fouls differently, and we're going to allow for defense. And this is a better balance. I think Doc Rivers wants the old superstar model where there's no defensive power. And that's why he's whining and crying right now. I like where they're at with the fouls, and so does Darko. Darko said that he feels like the foul calling and the way the NBA refs are calling the league has allowed the defense to come back, and it's better for the game if we have a defensive side that can battle the offensive side. It was too weighted towards offense for a couple of years there. And you couldn't actually play real defense in this league. And it wasn't truly basketball. It was kind of messed up, honestly. This is way better the way it is right now. It really, really is. And even if Doc is complaining about it, even though, Kuz is a runway model. The thing that Adriana kept saying about Kuzma last night, you say that guy has a lot of tattoos. She said that like 2 or 3 times every time they showed him. Wow, he has a lot of tattoos. Wow, he has a lot of tattoos. And I said, yeah, well, I hear that tattoos can get, they can kind of get addictive. And she's like, oh, really? Oh, I was like, I'm gonna get another tattoo. Is what she said. All right, let's see. Fierce is saying this. Yes, G, our ball movement was pristine. It was very good, very, very good, and it moved well. I liked it. I liked it. Let's go look at the team stats. In fact, this is a very telling place for us, real quick, on the game yesterday. The Raptors shot better than Milwaukee, shooting 48% to their 43. We manufactured 5 extra shot attempts through our hustle and offensive rebounding to get 91 shots. On the freeze, we beat them on 3-pointers, which is fantastic. This is an area playing a team like the Bucks who need their threes to beat other teams. If you can get 17 to their 11, that you're going to beat them because they need threes with Giannis to win this year. They have so many 3-point shooters on their team. And if they get outshot at 3-point land, they're going to lose often, the Milwaukee Bucks this year. I'll tell you right now. The free throws, we did a good job. We shot about 80%. Not too bad there. Rebounds, we out-rebounded them +9 with 50 rebounds, including 10 offensive rebounds. Our assist-to-turnover ratio, as I said earlier, was sublime. That's another part of the game that was really good. The ball movement's really good, and the attention to taking care of the ball, very, very top-notch last night. Like Jack was going on about it in the game. The Raptors only had like 3 turnovers at halftime, and then they collected like 2 more in the third. So we had like 5 turnovers by the time the fourth quarter came. And that's pretty good. Overall, we ended up with 10 turnovers. So the garbage time collected 5 more turnovers in the last quarter. So really, the starters and the high-level players on our team really only got like 5 turnovers for 3 quarters. And then the bench guys came in and got 5 more turnovers in the last quarter. So, yeah, 33-10, the assist-to-turnover ratio for the team. And I'm telling you guys, this is really good shit because often teams do not have point guard level assist-to-turnover ratios. This is a 3-to-1 assist-to-turnover ratio, right? Our point guards are 7-to-1, 8-to-1, and our team as a whole is a 3-to-1. You know, sometimes teams get more turnovers than assists. Sometimes they're very much even, where it's like there may be like 4 or 5 more assists than turnovers, like 25 assists, 21 turnovers. But nah, this is badass. 33 assists with only 10 turnovers. They're doing a good job. They're doing a really good job. They're taking care of the ball, and they're finding people too. And that's the thing. They're being daring. Back in a Nick Nurse team, there may be very few turnovers because we take care of the ball, but they're not as daring to move the ball around and get assists. So you may have like an 18 assist, 5 turnover game with a Nick Nurse Raptors team like 4 or 5 years ago. So this is very interesting to have high assists with low turnovers. Very, very interesting. The other side was actually not that bad either. They were 26-15 with their assist to turnover ratio. We won the fast break, 27 fast break points. And the points in the paint were won by the Bucks, actually, 46-42. So, yeah, good stuff on the box stats as far as things. I wish I could go over the shadow box stats with you guys. That's right. So I could tell you exactly what it is, but nobody keeps the shadow box score. That's right. Nobody does. Maybe there is some weird nerd out there that's keeping the shadow box score. I want to get your website, my guy, if you are out there, whoever you are, basketball reference person or something like that, maybe. Yeah, let's see. All right. Fiercely saying, he is dating Winnie Harlow. I have no idea who that is. That's Kyle Kuzma's girlfriend. Okay, I have no idea who she is. Fiercely saying, yesterday there was no fear the deer BS. The Raptors were clamped. Yeah, it's funny because Bucks fans came and checked me out after they beat us in our home opener, and they were talking some shit in our comments. I wonder if they'll come circle around and come see me again today and see what I have to say. That'd be very interesting to see if they do. Kareem saying this, in order to push the ball up the court and get fast break points, the team must collectively grab boards. We out-rebounded the Bucks yesterday with some early transitional points. Yeah, we were just after it. As Doc Rivers said, we were a step to it and more aggressive, and they were just a step behind a whole game, and we just didn't let up either. That's the other part of it being professional. It's like, look, they at some point were getting their ass beat. Did the Raptors try and let down on their quality and how they played? Did they try to let up? No, they didn't. They were like, we're going full tilt. We're going to play to the highest ability that we have. We could laze and start slacking because the Bucks are tired on the second night of back-to-back. And they're just not as good as us. But no, they didn't. The starters in particular, like I said, they didn't take their foot off the gas. And they didn't take their foot off their necks. And they just crushed them. And that's important. That's important in this league, especially like with the in-season tournament and the point differential. We're going to have to do that when we play these IST games, especially since we're in the hunt to go to Vegas. We're going to have to get a higher margin because currently right now, Atlanta, I believe, is above us in our group because they won their game by a higher point differential. So we got beat Atlanta on Friday, and we need to run the score up on them if we can. Like if we kick the Hawks' ass in a rout and we beat them with like 30 or 40 points, that would be good. That would be very good. Very, very good. That's right. Fiercely saying, bravo, Darko, for supporting IQ and his players. That's right. That's right. Doc Rivers endorses Darko. Darko endorses Emmanuel. And we should be endorsing our guys and standing by them. If you're a Raptors Nation person that's looking for criticism to criticize our players and our coach and our GM, that's all you do, and that's your only action, you're not a fan. You're a critic. And in some ways, you're probably a miserable fuck that has no power in your life, and you derive power from criticizing the Raptors. That's sad. Why don't you turn into a fan and root for your team and believe in them and start being on their side? That's an easier life. It's happier. I'll tell you that too. That's right. Let's go. All right, let's see. Kareem saying this. Did you guys notice Barnes' demeanor yesterday? He didn't show emotion. He was just locked in. That's the Scottie I want on a day-to-day basis. He's growing up and maturing right in front of us, guys. He has his own experiences and his life as a father now and different things that he goes through in his milestones. But there's milestones on the court that we see in maturity and changing and just becoming a better player. And some of it is the stuff I talked about with Giannis and his maturity and changing. You know, Scottie flexes at him. He doesn't even look at it. He just plays and wins the game. Well, the lesson was learned by Scott. And this time, instead of flexing, go win the game. And then you can flex still too. So, yeah, he's growing up. And you're right. His demeanor is changing game by game. And some of it is he's getting used to the role and being the leader and the franchise face and just how he can lead in the right ways. And it's not scoring, guys. It's not scoring the way that Scott's going to lead us to victories. He will at times help with the scoring for sure. But the stuff he does otherwise is the stuff that makes us win, guys. The shadow box score right there. That's right. That's right. Seymour saying, well, call me the idiot. IQ played like shit. The first few games, we all seen it. Darko's supposed to cover for his guy, but the eye test showed different. Wins hide errors all the time. Sorry, just saying the obvious. No, I'm not calling anybody specifically an idiot. I'm just saying that, you know, the way that the Raptors are handling it internally is that there's nothing wrong with IQ. He's going to get hit. He's going to play better at different times of the year. It's just like a game of basketball. There's runs. You have a run where you're going good, a run where the other team's going good, and it's back and forth. Well, IQ's on a run where he's not at the highest level of what he could play right now, but he's going to get back to that high level of play at some point, and he'll go on these runs this season. And there may be times where just different guys are up and down. It's just like how it is in basketball. And in some ways, he's just had it coincide with the beginning of the season. I think the most important thing that matters with Emmanuel is that he's available, that he's not hurt, because we need him out there, because he did miss a lot of games already as a Raptor. And then also the second thing is that he's showing signs of playing a more active, effective defense. The offensive stuff is stuff we know he has. He's going to come around and make more shots at some point. We need to see that he can play a high level of defense where he's helping us at best at that end, and also continue to work on his standard point guard work too. And he's fine. He's fine. It's crazy. I mean, I get it. We all want to overanalyze. We all want to nitpick. Not all of us. Some of us want to sing their praises and talk about what they're doing right instead of what they're doing wrong, you know? Fiercely saying this. Or no, that's super fan Mo. Good to see Mo. She went to the game last night. She promised us the W, and she came through. Thank you, Monique, for making the effort to get to the game and doing your part and bringing that energy and that aura. I called it yesterday. I said, Monique's going to go down there, and she's going to bring that good fan energy, and she will be a huge part of the reason why we win. And boy, did we win. 28-point victory. Monique has the bookends of it, seeing it, because she went to both Milwaukee home games. She saw the home opener. She saw the disappointment of losing that game, and she saw the victory of routing the game last night. I love you, Mo, and I'm so happy to have you in the chat this morning. Good morning, Rapid Free crew. Amazing blowout. We are healthy, scary hours for the whole league. That's right, scary hours. I love when Monique says that. I know something's right in the world when Monique is declaring it's scary hours for the rest of the league because the Raptors are back, baby. I love that. I'm getting a little sentimental about it. It was amazing. Eric Smith saw me at the very end. Did you get your book from Eric? Did Eric say, because you said that yesterday Monique was talking to Eric Smith of the Fan 590. And he was like, Monique, don't buy my book. I'm going to give you a copy of my book. And I'll bet you he'll sign it too. I bet you he'll sign that copy of that book. And Monique's signed Raptors books are going to grow her collection. She's got the JYD signed book. I think she has the DeMar signed book. She got the Eric Smith signed book. So, yeah, she's going to get the book directly from the author. And he's like, no, your money's no good on this, Monique. I want to give you the book. That's a great guy, Eric Smith. So you saw him? Did he get you the book? Well, either way, I know you'll get your book from him at some point. And it's cool that you saw him at the game. That's very cool. Kaloy saying this. Morning, Lex and everyone. Tonight is a vision of what's to come. Once the defense becomes consistent, we shall see most nights. Bobby and Masai took a look at what you've created. Yeah. In some ways, I worry about the center. And Bobby, I was coming after you last week about it. But this is the thing. I should have realized that was a overcorrection, a correction that needed to be made. We're so heavy on offense, and we're doting on the offense and figuring out the offense. The offense is good. We forgot about the defense. Well, let's get back to our touchstone with our defense and continue with what we're doing with the offense. All of a sudden, we got both sides of the court figured out, where it seemed like we couldn't figure out the defensive end for the first bit of the season, but I think we got it again. And that's a reconvening, a recollecting, talking about a commitment to team defense as each individual and what they're supposed to be doing and going out and putting the effort and making it happen. That's the big difference. Defense is effort. And if the team doesn't come with the right effort defensively or rebounding wise, they will look bad like they did in that 1-4 start. Well, they recommit. They get back on the same page. They're committing. They're communicating, and they're filling the holes. And all of a sudden you see we've got a two-way team. It's not just about two-way players. You want your team to be a two-way team. In some ways, you could argue that the Raptors were a defensive-minded team under Nick Nurse and a very, very bad offensive team. Well, I don't think we're a bad offensive team anymore. And this is the big difference of what's happening now with Brandon with us, is that we're going to be a good offensive team along with a very good defensive team. And those teams win in this league. Let's just put it that way. Those kind of teams win in this league. If you're high on in the quadrant of wow on Roddenberry's quadrant of NBA teams checking in where they are, if we're up in that top right corner on that graph more and more this season, don't be surprised because we're doing both things really well on both ends of the court. And that's the thing. Our offense is more power to it than ever. It's not anemic. It's not scary. There's not going to be as many times of Matt Devlin saying the Raptors have not scored in the last 3 minutes. He does still do it from time to time. But when we hear this happen, well, get Brandon out there and let him go to work. He'll end that scoring drought for the Raptors like that because he's always got a mismatch. That's right. He's always got a mismatch. That's right. Let's see. Kareem saying quickly we'll get there. 5 of 15 isn't a great look. That's actually a shooting stat line he's had pretty consistently throughout his career. It's not, in some ways, he's not an efficient player. He's a volume guy. And in some ways, he is in the veins of an Allen Iverson or Stephon Marbury. Now, if he could get to be inefficient like RJ, that'd be ideal. But in some ways, and they even talked about this, the paradox of speed. This is something that Josh Lindbergh brought this up the other day. And he said, is it the paradox of speed that's messing you up, Emmanuel, or something like that? Because it's like the whole idea of it is like Maxey, quickly, and Maxey are very full speed players. And Maxey's amazing. Tyrese Maxey is able to dribble up the court at full speed, stop on a dime, and take a three and be a somewhat good percentage shooting, which is crazy. That's so hard to do, to run full speed and just stop at a spot and jack up a shot and you make it. In some ways, Emmanuel's doing what Tyrese Maxey does, but it's not easy. The paradox of speed is you sacrifice accuracy for your speed. And that's part of the thing that's going on with Emmanuel is he's a very quick, fast player. But they want him to be. They want him to have that pace. They want him to add that quickness for our team and our dynamic. But in some ways, the paradox of speed is you sacrifice accuracy on your shot from going so fast. So there's a little bit of that's going on right here. But a 5 of 15, that's a shot chart for him that he's had as a Raptor and as he had as a Knick before he came here too. But we can clean it up. In some ways, that's better than a 2 for 12. He made 5 shots. That's pretty good. Let's see. When Lowry knew he was off on his shot, he made it a point to focus on the other things: rebounding, assist, defense. Quickly did that with 6 boards and 7 assists. Yeah, he's got to be able to contribute in all ways. This is the thing. None of our players can be totally one-dimensional. They've got to be doing each thing. And like Leo said recently, we have to have gang rebounding. Everybody has to go and try and crash the boards. Everybody has to go hit it. And that means Emmanuel at the point guard. And, the defensive energy he's outputting is more this year than it has been in his whole entire career. That man is running way more on defense and coming and getting people in different ways. In some ways, he was such a good offensive player, he could lackadaisically play defense. We're not asking him to do that this year. We're demanding him to play defense better. Then there's going to be a little bit of an adjustment time with his energy levels and how he's expending his stuff on the court as he adjusts to being a more defensive-sided person. That's just natural. In some ways, him rounding out and getting a 15-point game last night is a good sign, because the big sign for him is like, how many points can he score along with the defense, along with the assist-to-turnover ratio of 7-1? Because that's when he's hitting on all 3 cylinders. If he can make the threes consistently and he's making the assist-to-turnover ratio and he's putting out the output on defense, that's when we know he's back. That's when we know he's back. And it's really just the threes aren't going exactly right. He's not shooting exactly right. But every shooter has ups and downs with whether they're making stuff or not. His confidence is there. You see it when he's wide open. When he makes a shot, you're like, oh, damn, that's IQ that I know. That's the IQ I know. It's just a matter of time when he's going to bust out and he's going to get super hot. And he's going to make a whole bunch of threes and stuff. And he'll have like almost a 30-point game. And everybody like, yeah, he's like that. Emmanuel's like that. Because really the ultimate goal with Emmanuel is to get him more consistent like Maxey. If he can start being more consistent like his old friend Tyrese Maxey, then we're getting what we wanted in that contract that we gave to him. And it'll be coming, seriously. If there's anybody in this league that can be anywhere near what Tyrese Maxey's doing for the Philadelphia 76ers, is Emmanuel quickly on the Raptors. And remember that, guys, that in some ways the direction that Emmanuel's going to is hopefully maybe on the level. It's not going to be on the huge level of Maxey. Maxey's crazy. He's averaging, he gets almost 40 points a game, and he's just really something else. But if Emmanuel gets closer to Maxey than most guys, that's a success for us. And that's a good starting point guard, guys. Seriously, you got to think about it. There's a lot of Maxey and Quickly. That's a comparison that's very easy to make. And if you really want to see where Quickly could go to, you got to look at Tyrese. You got to look at Tyrese. G saying this, I forgot who said it, but they don't run plays for RJ like that. He gets his points within the game and has been effective doing so. Yeah, a couple people said this in the last day or so. Shed was talking about how amazed he is that RJ's still averaging what he's averaging because they're not running half the plays that he did last year. I saw the stats for this. His usage is down and his stats are more efficient. It's really a testament to RJ's just a badass. And he's really trying hard in all facets to play as perfect as he can. And he really is doing a good job. He really, really is. G saying concepts, offensive rating is now 6 and defensive rating is 19th. Both moved up, but the defensive rating getting much better is why they're winning now. Yeah, we needed to have defense. If you have open door policy underneath the basket and you're getting double rebounded, you're losing. You're losing. This is important, Kevin Durant. And I love that Draymond and Kevin are going back and forth about what wins championships, defense or offense. That's funny because like you guys won championships together and they were the different reasons why. Offense wins championships, Draymond. Shut up, Kevin. You could win jack shit without me and Steph. Defense gets the championships. I'm with Draymond on this one. I'm not often with him. No. Did y'all see Dylan Brooks get a technical off the bench wearing sunglasses? Brett Nansel calling him up because he was talking trash to Draymond from the bench. He wasn't even dressed to play. And he got a technical. That's my villain, Dylan. I love that. I'm not mad at him for that. I'm like, yeah, Dylan's awesome. He can get a technical. He's not even in the game. He's so cool, man. I like that guy, man. I like that guy. Let's see. Shaq Lindsay saying this. Our team has arrived. I was waiting for a win like this where BI didn't have to put up big numbers in order for a team to thrive. I know. And once again, I know I'm tooting the horn of this channel, but you guys are a collective with me. We're a think tank. We are all together, a group, and we have our mentalities and the things we talk about, and we're ahead. Like, seriously, we talked about this shit yesterday. I said this. Be ready tonight. We're going to turn the corner and we're going to start showing just how badass we are, and people are going to open their eyes. And it's not who we were in the 1-4 start. This is more real about who we are, what we're doing last night. And I'm ready for this. I think that this is going to be a very fun season, as I said before, because each game is a very winnable game, and we get the opportunity to be delighted by watching Darko, his system, and the players just do such a good job. They're doing it the right way. They're doing it for us, and they're doing it badass. I love what they're doing right now. It's so much fun, Shaq Lindsay. And, other people may have not watched the game last night because they just figured, oh, the Raptors lost to Giannis in the home opener. They suck this year. I don't think I'm going to watch the game, hon. I think I'm just going to go ahead and go in the study and read my book. Okay, honey. I don't know why. You love the Raptors. Why aren't you watching them this year? Oh, they're bad this year, honey. They're really bad. I think I'm just going to read my book. I got We the Raptors from Eric Smith. Yeah, it's good. I'm reading it. I'll read it in here. Yeah, I don't do this, Raptors fans. Ride or die with your team. Come and watch every game. I don't give a shit if you think they're overmatched. They don't have a chance. They do. And they're going to come and give their best effort to try and get it. Just trust me on this. Seriously, they do. Monica's saying this. Saying Sandy B in the arena so fast. Amazing. Wow. Yeah, that's a tradition the Tempo are doing. This that what they're saying is when they hire somebody, they're going to come to the Raptors game that day. And that's a tradition that they want to do. Yeah, November the 4th is going to be a memorable day for a long time because that will be the day that we hired the first ever coach for the Toronto Tempo. And man, I've got so much to talk about this, but I'm saving it for tomorrow, Monique. Tomorrow, Thursday Think Tank. Let's talk about Sandy. Let's talk about the Toronto Temple's brand new head coach. And let's go over this. I have some very deep shit to talk about for tomorrow. I want to leave a cliffhanger so people will be interested to come and see what I have to say about Sandy Brondello, because I read some stuff yesterday and I can see something happening very soon. And everybody's going to be like, whoa, this is crazy. Yeah. You guys will want to know what I have to say tomorrow. Tune into the Thursday Think Tank. We're going to talk about the new Tempo coach, and I want y'all to call in and tell me what you think about her. Yeah. Kaloy saying this. Anyone mentioned the blue wave last night? Mendini and the Democrats. Wow, the tides are turning, Lex. This is a good start, but let's not get it twisted. There's still so much more work to do, and there's a lot of healing and a lot of fixing that's going to take years and years to come, because in just a short period of time, this Project 2025 has wreaked havoc all over the United States and their country, and this is just the beginning. In some ways, they need to keep coming with this. And thank God. And I appreciate everybody out there that is a registered Republican or somebody who's self-identified as a conservative or a Republican most of your life, and you came to your senses and you understand what the assignment is now. This is the thing. You guys are, it's never been about left versus right. This is about democracy and freedom versus totalitarian dictatorship. And the people that get so involved in political lines and just go down the side, they can see what this is. Some of them, they're very smart, and they are not liking this. On the day that Dick Cheney died, the blue wave happened. And in some ways, that's kind of poetic, man. It's kind of poetic. Dick Cheney was an architect of what got us to this point in the government down there in a really bad way. In some ways, Dick Cheney was decrying and against Trump in the end of his life, and very much a critic of him. And in some ways, but you got to understand, Dick Cheney, you set up the world to let Trump come to this with some of the shit you did with stacking the Supreme Court and some of the tactics that you taught conservatives to do over the years. In some ways, you are part of the evolution to get to this point. And as much as at the end, as much as your daughter has fought against it, as much as you talked out against it, you are to blame partly for all this shit, Dick Cheney. You are to blame because your politics and your way of thinking led to the evolution that got us to MAGA and Trump. And in some ways, it's very poetic. A blue wave washed over the United States on the day that Dick Cheney died. Yeah. And I appreciate everybody who did not just follow political lines and knows what right and wrong is, because in some ways, this has all been bullshit, whether it's liberal, conservative, Republican, Democrat, none of this shit matters. What we care about is what's good for our society and for people in general. Most people are good people. We're not angry, evil people on both sides, but they painted both sides against each other. And we got to do this. In some ways, I see a new world where we don't have politics as heavy anymore. We get more on the individual tip. Whereas you see somebody like Mandini come in. He has a platform. He has ideas. He has things that he wants to do. Too much of the two-party system has been butting heads and getting nowhere and gridlock. It's just holding the other side away. The Republican Party is completely this now. Anything the Democrats try to do under Biden, they stymied and stopped and stalemated and wasted everybody's time, energy, and money holding up the government just because it was versus left versus right. Nobody wants that kind of government. This is what we've been complaining about forever, that the government just doesn't do jack shit because they're fighting against each other and they don't get anywhere. We want individual leaders that don't exactly have a party affiliation. We want people with ideas. We want people that are going to come in and say how they're going to fix things and make life better for working class people. When you get those kind of candidates, and it is not about a red or a blue sign, and it's not about a party affiliation, this is where we're going to heal, and this is where we're going to get good leadership, and this is where we're going to unite. Because honestly, this has been a whole full of shit two-party thing for so long, and people are sick of this shit. And in some ways, maybe the way we change things is we change the whole damn system so there's no more of this shit. Maybe we have individuals, no more parties. And you come with your platform, and you know what? We get the money out of it too. No more corporate sponsorship. No more billionaires buying elections and Peter Thiel and G. Vance bullshit. No. We get individuals like Mandini, and they come with a platform, and they stand for ideas, and people vote for that instead of just voting for a party blindly. Yeah, Democrat or Republican. Fuck both of them because they're shitty parties, both of them. And in some ways, we're all sick of it. So why don't we meet in the middle and say, yeah, you know what? I know you voted for Reagan and Bush, and you voted for Bush too, even. You even voted for Trump in 2016, but your eyes have opened. You understand the divisiveness is not helping anyone. And we're sick of this shit. We're all coming together. And what matters is the issues. And how are you going to help us? And how are you going to govern for the people, by the people, in the democracy of the United States, adhering to the U.S. Constitution? That shit will matter more than the parties. And I'd love to see that up here too in Canada. It's like, it doesn't have to be down party lines. Let's get platforms. Let's get good candidates who have ideas and how they're going to make the world better. That's the future we're going to go to, guys. And I want it. I think you all want it too. You're sick of this shit, aren't you? Yeah. We're all sick of this political schedule where we get inundated with all this bullshit and all these hate commercials and all this crap and negativity. We don't need all this shit. We don't need y'all wasting billions of dollars on ads and paper and all the bullshit you do. You better come with substance and a platform and ideas. And how are you going to fix healthcare? And how are you going to do this with gun control to stop school shootings? Because we're sick of y'all spinning your wheels and not doing shit about all the problems in this world. Instead of fighting and just worrying about your own damn re-election, people hate career politicians. So maybe we need to stop this shit with this system. And none of it has to do with party anymore. We denounce the parties. We say DNC, you don't have no power no more. RNC, you don't have no power anymore. Y'all don't even stand for the people anymore. You stand for your own fucking bullshit and your donors and your own fucking corporate ideals on both sides. We want people that actually stand for the people. We want people that are actually running for the people. And we're going to get this more and more because people are fed up. And if this resonated with you, whether you're right or left on the political spectrum, good, because let's go. We're on the same team now. And it's against the politicians and the system that has been outgrown, that has been abused, and has been pilfered and philandered through by career politicians who have made so much fucking money off the taxpayers and have done jack shit to represent us. All right, let's keep going. Good game saying this. Ingram was looking to pass last night. He knew the assignment. They were going to focus on him on defense, and he understood the ball needed to move to win. This was actually an aspect. I'm glad you brought this up, G, because this was something they did talk about. They recognized that Doc Rivers had formulated something to try and stop Ingram last night, and they were giving him extra attention. And in some ways, that's part of the reason why Brandon's numbers weren't as good as some of the games recently, is that he actually was getting focused on by Milwaukee. And well, the adjustment was made. Brandon's not new to this rodeo. In some ways, he's been an NBA vet for a long time, and he understands the protocol for when this happens. And he's unselfish enough, and he's able to he has enough time doing this that he knows the assignment. But this is a good point, G, and I'm glad you brought this up because that's what I'm saying. Some teams are going to want to focus on Brandon. Some teams are going to want to focus on Scott. Well, they're going to forget about RJ, and he's going to be sneaking through and muscling through layups right next to the basket. So yeah, this is a very good problem for us. Everybody thought we had too much talent. How are we going to figure this out? It's not about how we're going to figure it out. Darko's figured it out. It's about how are the other teams going to figure out how to try and fucking stop a three-headed hydra called Barnes, Barrett, and Ingram. How did they figure that out? That's just nightmares. Scary hours indeed, Monique. Scary hours indeed. They don't have enough people to try and stop all three of them. You can try and double Scott. You can try and double Brandon. Yeah, there's RJ. There's RJ sneaking through the back door and putting the ball in. That's right. That's right. Seymour's saying Panthers repeat. Dodgers repeat. Thunder 8-0. They might repeat. Raptors are a threat. Can't wait for the big dance. Thunder are looking good. SGA's already declaring that the Thunder are better than they were last year. He feels like his team has learned. There's a stat floating around on the internet that out of all the professional sports teams in the entire U.S., North America sports, major sports, the Oklahoma City Thunder are the most undefeated team for the longest. They have not lost since they lost to the Pacers in Game 6 of the finals, and that was in June. Every single other team in the other sports, baseball, hockey, basketball, football, they've all have losses. And the longest undefeated streak of a professional sports team in all four major sports right now is the Oklahoma City Thunder, who have not lost since like June the 25th or something like that. It's kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy. Kareem saying this, I love Ingram's game. The Raptors at times get into scoring droughts in the past few years, but now with Brandon, he can get to his spot and either get fouled or miraculously shoot over 7'9" players. No, that's a little tall. But yeah, no, he's awesome. He's a release. He's a safety valve. We're in trouble. Yeah, put him in if he's not in the game. I also really like these lineups that Darko's been playing Brandon with like 4 bench guys. And because he's very centric then. And he draws such attention, and especially if Grady's out there with him. Because the gravity of Ingram on one side possibly posting up means an open Grady in the corner. It does. I would like to actually see Brandon gravitate towards throwing the ball to Dick more. Seriously, I'd like to see that happen more because I feel like Brandon could be somebody who could really get Grady going because he's doing such a good job getting RJ such great open shots. Can you do this for Grady more, Brandon, in the lineups that you end up out there with them? That'd be good. Raptors Champs is in the house. Good to see Raptors Champs. One of my favorite new Raptor freaks. Good morning, Raptor freaks and champs. That's right. That's right. Champions of 2019, champions again. That's right. We will be champions again. Kareem saying Scottie's best game was 3 years ago against the Nuggets in Denver. Then he followed it up with a great game in LA during that road trip. He was doing so good. LeBron hit him with the fastball. Yeah, I remember that. And those were good times, but I feel he's elevated. Like I'm telling you, his best is coming. His best is yet to come. And now I see it stack up. I say he had the best quarter of his whole entire NBA career last night in the first quarter because he stopped Giannis and Antetokounmpo and he played an efficient offense. That's the thing. It's the balance. There's those times where Scottie has done amazing things offensively in quarters and stuff, but there wasn't the other side of the coin that I'm talking about. He did both last night for the first quarter. Exemplary. And that is why I'm saying Scottie played the best quarter of his NBA career in the first quarter against the Bucks last night because he shut down Giannis, an MVP, one of the most unstoppable players in the NBA. And he also managed at the same time to find his offense and very effectively. I don't think he missed any shots too. So it's kind of like, that's badass, man. That's badass. Yeah. Let's see. Most saying everyone gets stars of the game in this one, Raptors. There you go. She's just giving them to the whole team. Look at that. I love it. I love it. Fiercely saying, I'm glad you got the opportunity to witness such a beautiful game yesterday, Monique. Yeah, that's awesome. I love that too. Seymour saying facts, eye candy. They sure are lucky, though. They sure are lucky. Okay. Shag Lindsay saying this. There's no fool's gold with our team. Some teams came out of the gate with a winning record like 76ers, the Bulls, the Bucks, the Hawks. All these teams are finished products and came out of the blocks. Once again, this is so early in the season. There's no dust settling anytime soon. If you look at how bunched up the Eastern Conference is, other than maybe the 0-7 Brooklyn Nets, the games between each other is very close from the top to wherever. There's like only 4 or 5 games between most of the teams in the Eastern Conference. The ability to it all to get shuffled and still change is very much going to happen. In fact, it's like I really do feel like the favorites for this year in the Eastern Conference are stumbling out the gates to a degree. The Cleveland Cavaliers have injuries, and they're damn for sure not going to win as many games as they did last year. You see, the Celtics are definitely not going to be a winning team this year. The Pacers are hurt, and they're the team that went to the Eastern Conference Finals last year, and they have a horrible record. The Knicks have a pretty good record. They started okay, but I have no faith in that market and their fans and the everything that goes on in New York with the Knicks. We know how they operate and how things happen with them, especially with a coach like Mike Brown on there, and something's going to happen at some point. You know it will. You know it will. Things will be rosy and happy in New York, but something's going to go apart somewhere, somehow in that game, in that team. You know that. So it's wide open. These anointed teams that they said were coming up to do the next thing, well, Trae Young's hurt. Sorry, Atlanta is not exactly as good as y'all said they were. Detroit, they seem the same. How much better are they? I don't know. Orlando, still having problems. Still having problems. Raptors, though, looking very promising, and they are in that tier of what we just talked about. Those 4 teams right there. These are the teams poised to make a jump in the Eastern Conference. Atlanta, Orlando, Detroit, and the Toronto Raptors. Who do you feel more confident in and going up and taking one of the top spots in the Eastern Conference? The shit we were saying this summer where people probably laughed at us. I think the Raptors are a top 3 Eastern Conference team. I said that before the season started, and some people said I was crazy. Do I seem crazy right now? Do I seem crazy saying that the Toronto Raptors may be a top 3 Eastern Conference team with home court advantage in the playoffs, a straight-up playoff team, and one of the top 3 teams in the East right now? Do I seem crazy? No, I don't. And people will find out more and more that this is no fool's gold, like Shaq Lindsay's saying. This is a bona fide thing because there's depth and there's people and there's adjustments, and our coaching staff will figure out things on the fly as we go through the season and the things we have to face. And we're going to be fine, and we're going to win a lot, guys, this year. I'm telling you right now, we are. Fiercely saying, I know Lex wants to reduce combos on with other teams, but can we address Villain Dylan getting a tech without not playing? Yeah, I did. I brought it up for a second. Let me go ahead and do the Instagram stories as a segue. Jared Roden has landed in Paris, and it's a rainy day in Paris, France. And he says the vibes are immaculate here. It seems like the room he's staying in has a very nice green view with a lot of trees and a lot of beauty outside of it. So, yeah, Jared's digging France so far. Vibes are immaculate. That's right. Lloyd is celebrating the Thunder's 8-0 start. Of course, he's a super fan of the Oklahoma City Thunder. And what about Lloyd? Why not Lloyd? Scotty's friend from Twitch is very, very much in ecstasy about the start for the Thunder so far. Mamu has got a highlight of him doing this coming up the court after a play against the Bucks last night. And there's the score, 128-100. And there's the leader, Scott, with Emmanuel looking on. And yeah, there's a highlight there where the steal happened and they're coming the other way, and Shed throws it up and Mamu gets the jam in transition. Love it, love it, love it. He likes playing with Shed. Shed's been a good point guard for him. He says that he doesn't feel like Shed is a second-year player the way he plays. Like Mamu said that after the game last night. He said Shed is above and beyond second-year player. All right, there's RJ coming into the game last night. RJ was wearing a nice leather pants and jacket. And Adriana was kind of like dissing the style of some of the Raptors before the game. She's like, doesn't understand this bell bottom phase because RJ's wearing bell bottoms, guys. He's got like leather bell bottoms on when he's coming to the game. And Scottie was wearing a black bell bottoms also on his game. And Adriana saw Scottie's fit. He's like, well, what is going on with him? I don't like it. Like, what are you talking about? He's like, well, he's got bell bottoms on. Why is he wearing bell bottoms? Like, that's the 70s. I was like, maybe bell bottoms are back in or something like that. Maybe we just don't know. You know, we're kind of, middle-aged. Maybe we don't know. And she went and looked it up on Google. And, what did she find? Bell bottoms are back in style right now. So Scotty's going to know. He's a fashion icon for the Raptors to a degree. He's building his own style. And, well, Scotty's fit. He had the black bell bottoms on last night. So did RJ. RJ had some black bell bottoms on. I think Sandro was wearing bell bottoms too when he came into the game last night. Jamison Battle celebrating the game on his Instagram stories. There's Jamal Shed with that pass to Sandro on that fast break. He's posted it also. Yeah, just good stuff. Shed helping out Grady and Sandro, and then moving the ball around, moving it all around, get it all the way around. Oh, that ball movement is so good. So good. Look at that. And then Mamu at the top of the key. Bam. Hitting it. Hitting it. Hitting it. There's Shed with his fit coming in. He was wearing a green sweater with stars on the sleeve and wearing his sunglasses, looking cool. Savannah Hamilton, of course, yesterday was a part of the history at the press conference for Sandy Brondello, her and Ashley asking questions towards the new coach. And we will talk about this more tomorrow. But yeah, very fantastic day, a big historic day in Toronto sports history. Hiring of the first ever Toronto Tempo head coach. And we got a lot to say about it tomorrow. Trust me. Zach Edey is celebrating 200 career three-pointers for Fletcher Lawyer for Purdue Boilermakers. Okay, so he's celebrating a former teammate on the Purdue team. There's Jonathan Mobo taking some shots from three in the warm-up before the game on his Instagram. Grady Dick with one of his shots in the game last night, a drive, a kick, and then he got the ball. No, he's showing the ball movement where they passed it all around and Mamu got it. So Grady was in the middle of all that. So yeah, he's showing a highlight of Mamu's and the ball movement, the beautiful game. Jacoby Walter showing his fit coming into the game, wearing a hoodie, a blue hoodie, and some logo pants with sponsorship logos all over it. There's the Raptors standing by there. And Jack, this is funny, man. They must listen to me, guys. They gotta listen to me because often I feel like some ways I'm helping production staffs for TSN and Sportsnet because I give them a cheat sheet. Like they can get up in the morning, and I do have to research sometimes because I'll be talking about certain things that matter for the game. And maybe it's just that we're good at our jobs and we're all doing the same thing separately. But Jack Armstrong, at some point last night, was questioning whether it was the Raptors' birthday or not, just like I was. Remember? Like, seriously, Monique, this is true. You were at the game and you didn't hear this. But Jack Armstrong went on for a couple minutes about, is it the Raptors' birthday or is it the birthday of the Raptors team? And he was asking that on the show, and it sounded just like what I was saying. And I was like, wait a second. Jack is bringing up a subject that I was wondering about on the show. This is just weird, man, sometimes. I don't know. I'm flattered, guys. If you guys aren't watching me and I'm delusional and I'm just an egotist thinking that you might be, but if you are, if there's anybody from TSN or Sportsnet or any of the media companies that are using me as a cheat sheet or whatever it is, I don't mind. I love you for that. You go ahead. If I help y'all be more informed with your broadcast and doing a good job, because you guys are doing a good job, I'd be willing to be a part of the team unpaid and unheralded and not even recognized because I don't give a shit about any of that. I just want y'all to do a good job, and I want the Raptors to win. And that's all I care about. But yeah, Jack Armstrong was asking the same thing. Is it actually the dude's birthday in the costume? Because he was alluding to the fact that that would make him 30. And then Jack said, I don't think the guy in the costume is 30, guys. He's kind of outed him. And then Matt came down on him like Scottie would to me, talking about the Raptor and his real identity. And said, Jack, don't be talking about the age of the Raptor, Jack Armstrong. It's hilarious. That whole moment was like really interesting to me. I'm like, that was the moment where I was like, damn, maybe they are watching me. Seriously. Or Jack just thought the same way as me, I guess, maybe. That may be it too. And I'm not that important. They brought out the FIFA soccer mascots last night for the World Cup. And they have the maple, the moose for Canada, and they have an eagle for US. And a panther for Mexico. It was cool to see those mascots at the game last night, hanging out with the Raptor. And the Raptor had his soccer jersey on. Very, very cool. Yeah, good stuff. Andrew Jones at hockey practice with one of his kids. A 7-footer in hockey? What? What is that? Also, they took team pictures of the coaches. And they had the MLSE Launchpad Fan Fest last night with Raptors 905 players there. And Andrew Jones giving drills to the kids at the launch pad. And they took a picture of the staff. There's Justin Cerise and Leftwich and the rest of the crew with Andrew Jones, the coaching staff for 905. Once again, y'all, we're going to go to the 905 game this Sunday. It's the next Raptor Freak family hangout. I'll be there at the game at around 1:15, 1:30 at the box office. If you want to come and meet me, you want to go to a Raptors 905 game with the Raptor Freaks, come on down. Adrian and I will be there around 1:15, 1:30. And I want to sit courtside for College Park Skyhawks versus Raptors 905. Let's go see Chucky Hepburn, Elijah Martin, and AJ Lawson up close at Mississauga's Paramount Fine Food Center 2 p.m. is the start of the game on Sunday afternoon, this Sunday. And as I said, I'll be there around 1:15. And yeah, I'd love to go to the game with you guys. And you just show up. You say, oh, there's the Raptor Streak. Say, hey, Raptor Streak. Hey, Lex, it's me. And we'll go and we'll see the game. We got a few people coming already, and I'd like to get a good crowd. So consider it, especially if you're free that Sunday and you want to go and see what's all about. I would tell my Mississauga Raptor freaks, definitely come, Kareem Thomas. Definitely come, Gerald, for sure. Yeah, they're congratulating Eric Smith, Jack Armstrong, congratulating Eric Smith on the official release of the We the Raptors book. I'm going to push this book. Eric Smith is a real one. Eric Smith is a bird of a feather like me, with his love for the Raptors, and he's a media kind of guy like me. And I just appreciate him so much. Like I said, I live vicariously through you, E, because I feel like you've been such a successful person in our field. And in some ways, you did that life that I wanted to do. And I am not hating you for it. I love you for it. And you're doing it right. That's what being not a hater is. Even if you don't get what somebody else gets, that you want it, you support and you love them. That's what I'm saying right there. It's important, y'all. Don't be a hater. Don't be a hater on people's success, especially when they do something you wanted to do. Lindsey Dunn is back in Raptors mode, away from the Blue Jays at this point, and she was at courtside reporting for City TV stuff. Let's see. Raptors 905 Fan Fest was last night. Or why are they putting that? There's the players clapping. There's Lacey James. There's Jarkel Joyner. There's David Roddy. There's Quincy Guerrier. There's Olivier Sarr. There's the whole crew for the Raptors 905 at MLSC Launchpad last night doing the drills. Tyreek Key. We're good to see those guys out and engaged with the youth and the community. Very, very good stuff. Andrew Jones, always coaching. That's right. Get to it, Andrew. In your second year as the Raptors 905 coach, I know you guys are going to do really well this year. And good job, Luke Wynn, getting the good stuff. It looks like Chucky Hepburn's saying a happy birthday to a baby boy. Happy boy. I don't know who this baby is. That baby's 1 year old. That's a little baby for 1 year old. Or is it just baby boy is just born? I don't know. It's a happy boy. I don't know. Maybe it isn't that boy's birthday. It's just a happy boy. I don't know. Is that your boy, Chucky? Is that your child? That's interesting. Colin Murray Boyle's coming in the game wearing headphones on his head and just coming in. And, well, Colin is going to be ups and downs in your career. Not every night's going to be what it is. Norman Powell got some revenge in the last day or so. I love it. Norman went back to L.A., beat the Clippers, and they really were happy for him. They wanted that team victory for Norman because they feel like the Clippers disrespected him on his way out. And it was a really big deal to coach Eric Spoelstra and Bam Adebayo and everybody else to help Norman get a big victory over the Clippers in their arena in the Intuit Dome. It's very, very good. And Norman was really kind of fired up because I feel like he had a bad taste in his mouth the way things went with the Clippers and the way he left. Serge Ibaka is getting treatment on his legs. I'm not sure where he is. He still wants to come back to the NBA. Bobby, call him. Call him up. You got open roster spot. Let's get him on a vet minimum. Serge Ibaka could be our final big added to the roster. He can count as one of our three centers. Slim Duck in the Celtics green. It's never going to get used to this. It's weird. It's weird. It's weird. That's all I got to say. Let's see. Matt Devlin was thanking for being on Primetime Sports. I guess he came and talked on Primetime SE or something. He was on the panel with Chris Wilson and Sean Redmond. And I don't even know what these people are. They were talking about Sportsnet stuff, I guess. OG Anunoby with some highlights. Him getting a steal in transition and dunking it like he does. OG Anunoby, we love you. You're awesome, even if you're a Nick. Let's see. There's Toronto Tempo with their announcement of Sandy and all the stuff from yesterday. Y'all, if you haven't watched the press conference, go ahead and find it. It's on the Toronto Tempo's official YouTube account. There's a half-hour introductory press conference. And honestly, it's kind of mandatory watching if you want to come tomorrow and have any opinions on the Sandy Brondello hire. And I would ask you to go ahead and find it and subscribe up to the Toronto Tempo's YouTube channel and get them up on their subscriber account. Please, 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 please with you. That's right. They were at the game last night. She got interviewed by Kayla Gray on the sidelines. She's very personable, very well-spoken. We'll talk more about that tomorrow. That's right. Let's see. What else do we got? We got Kyle Lowry. What is that? I don't even know what he's saying. He's celebrating somebody for becoming the CEO of Cargo Jet. I guess it's the CEO of Cargo Jet. Kyle Lowry still has an account with being a spokesperson for them or something. There's your Instagram stories for today. Yeah, there you go. Right there. That's right. Let's see. Carloy saying two-way star Scottie Barnes. That's right. The Raptors are a two-way team at this point. Neil's here. Good to see Neil checking in. Thank you for supporting the channel. You also, Shaq Lindsay. Sprinting. Most of these teams are fool's gold and won't have the stamina to endure this winning. Raptors developing at the right pace, and similar to Indiana last year, we will be there in the end. Yeah, it's a long marathon, and at each stage, we just take it as each game is an opportunity to get better from the last one. And if we see deficiencies, if we see problems, we work on them, we adjust, and we do better next time. And this is how you work as a team. If teams are very honest with themselves, they have a high level of talent, they actually have accountability, they can get better very quickly during the season. If they are teams that are older and veteran, like the Warriors or the Clippers, and they're old dogs, they don't like to learn new tricks. So there's not necessarily as much growth from accountability with James Harden and Kawhi Leonard. So, yeah, there will be a lot more accountability with young superstars like Grady Dick and Jacoby Walter to get better more and more with us. And he's exactly right. Shaq Lindsay knows, he sees it. And if we have a path similar to Indiana, well, that means we're in the finals. And I love it. G's saying this, as far as IQ, I don't want a dominant point guard having Ingram, Scottie, and RJ. I would be happy with 15 points per game, 7+ assists per game. He doesn't take the ball out of their hands nor shoots them out of the game. Yeah, maybe what he's doing right now is exactly what we want him to do. And we don't need him to do more, guys. Maybe that stat line is the one G just said, and it's fine. And we won. What's wrong? There's nothing wrong. There's nothing broken. And that's what Darko and them are saying. There's no problems with IQ. Y'all are manufacturing shit, and you're seeing things that just aren't issues. They're not issues. So in some ways, it's like, look, in some ways, that would be a personal sacrifice of Emmanuel to not score as much and defer to the other guys and be more of a true point guard. And I don't think he's against doing that necessarily if it means winning and he looks better. He's getting paid either way, right? He's going to get paid that good money either way. And if you honestly, what's the goal of an NBA team? Is it just to get individual stats and look good as an individual? No, it's as a team to win and win titles. So let's stay on track for what the goals are of the team, NBA fans and Raptor fans. That's right. Fiercely said this, our guys getting garbage time are still solid. They don't make us lose our leads as opposed to previous years. Benchers, all in the development. Darko prepared them well last year with all the playing they got. Now, I'm going to disagree with you to an extent, because in some ways we have seen a drop-off from the starting lineup to the bench in the last two games. They've both been wins. Now, let's not get it twisted, but there's also been times where we've switched from starter level to bench and we've lost leads. And all of a sudden, the other team's coming back on us. And, well, that's to be expected. That's the natural thing that's going to happen sometimes. But let's not get it twisted. There's been lapses from the bench. And like a good specific example is Colin Murray-Boyles coming in to replace Scottie on guarding Giannis. You see the drop-off there. So it's not totally true, Fiercey. And they're a work in progress, and they will have different levels of sustaining good quality stuff on the court at different nights. And some nights they may be like Precious and Malachi from before. And some nights they'll be like what they were last night and very steady and good for the most part. But let's not get it twisted. There are still times where we have a good lead built up by the starters, and we bring in more reserves, and we're losing that lead all of a sudden. That has happened a couple times in this 3-game winning streak. But Darko adjusts, gets the right lineup in, and fights. They fight back, and they get the lead back, because there's been a bit of that. That happened in the Cleveland game late in the third, where we were really worried that they were going to come back and beat us, and they didn't need to, because we had a bench lineup out there that was kind of coughing up the lead. Yeah, Chloe said this, 3-headed dragon. B.I., Barnes, and Barrett. Yeah, the Bs, the triple Bs. Yeah, that's pretty good. One game changes nothing. Let's see consistency. Yeah. Well, they've got 3 games in a row. You know, they're not trying to toot their horns in the interviews. Jakob said this, and he just showed up for the first game back, so he can't take too much credit for this. He said, I feel more confident seeing us win 3 in a row. Now we want to string more together. And that's the whole thing here, is like we beat Atlanta on Friday. You know, we've got Darko dinner already this season. We just won 3 in a row, guys. And then the first year of Darko, that we obsessed with this. Just get 3 games in a row. Look at it. We did it. And we didn't even think about it. And the last 2 years, we'd be celebrating. Oh, some idiots would be saying, we get pizza. It was never that. We got Darko dinner for winning the game last night. And we got to remember where we come from. When we were just trying to string together 3 wins in a row. We did it effortlessly in some ways just now. and it looks like we can go get 4. And that's what we want to be more like, is that Raptors team in the 2010s that would get 8, 9 win streaks. And we could do that again right now. I want to right now. Let's extend this win streak as far as we can go. One game at a time. Atlanta, you're next, Goldberg. That's right. Dun, 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 dun. Very apropos. Atlanta, the home of WCW, Bill Goldberg, and the big win he had over Hulk Hogan on Monday Night Nitro, in that big epic Monday Nitro in Atlanta, where Bill Goldberg beat Hulk Hogan live on TV, not on pay-per-view, and everybody saw it. Dun, 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 dun. Oh, wait, was it Lex Luger? Never mind. It was Lex Luger who beat him. Never mind. I got that wrong. All right, let's keep going. All right, let's see. Kaloy saying, yeah, defense needs to be consistent to see this on a nightly basis. Yep. Nako saying, Mamu is probably the best value player on the team. You know, on the download, the 3 additions to our team have been huge. Brandon, Mamu, and Colin. They've all been huge in their own ways, and it's actually been really, really good. Really, really good. I'm proud of all those guys. Okay, let me see. Oh, wow. I got to get going here. Let's see. Shaq Lindsay saying, yesterday I forgot to mention the Orlando Magic as a team in disarray. Traded 4 picks for Bane and the luxury tax and have a losing record. Oh, wow. The room has gotten silent about our salary. Yeah. The Magic, I felt like they were getting over pushed as being a top team this year. I really did think that. I've been thinking that the whole time consistently. Raptors champs saying, wait till Yak mid floater starts again. I could tell he's trying it, but he's rusty. Yeah, he's just trying to keep his back healthy and get back in a playing rhythm. In some ways, he was more in a rhythm last night, but we know he can be more in sync with everybody else and really on top of things to a level where he's getting a lot of blocks, dominating the boards, and absolutely a wall on defense. We know he's going to improve even better. Paul B saying 3-point percentage, number 1, Jamison Battle, 76.9%. Yeah, he did miss the one he shot last night. Shaq Lindsay saying situation are how we need to trade RJ. Situation. Oh, yeah, the stuff that they talk about is so dumb. The way people talk about that. The people that are silent about the salary situation or how we need to trade RJ. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Seymour saying this. Lex, I have one question. By not giving Jamison some run, are we stifling his progress? Just a question. No, because once again, the thing that we all have to realize is the tip of the iceberg is what we see on the court. They are in practice. They are working hard behind the scenes. Half the time, most of the progress and the stuff that's happening isn't have anything to do with what we see on the court. It's like behind the scenes. Jamison's putting that work. He put in that work on his body, got stronger, is a better rebounder and defender for it. And half the shit that matters to these guys getting better is not anything to do beyond the court. It's not stifling his progress. Last year, Jamison got time on both teams majorly. In fact, he probably played the most minutes out of all the Raptors between 905 and the Raptors because he was healthy most of the year, and he did double duty. There were many, many games where Jamison played both squads. Now, it's looking like he is not in the plans for the 905 this year at all. Now, that may be something where, yeah, every once in a while we got to get him out there because he's not getting the supplemental time with the 905. But wait! Can he go to the 905 still? Yes, he can, because he's a second-year player, and he can be sent for assignments down to Mississauga anytime to get time on the court if he isn't in the rotation as much in the regular lineup. I made this argument this week already, Seymour, that in some ways not overplaying Jamison is absolutely keeping him more potent. You know, you could play the hell out of him, play him 20 minutes every game, and his shot gets worse and worse. In some ways, this is kind of what's happened to Grady. Grady played starters minutes, played a lot, and sure, he was good at times, but sometimes he's just off. Like Gary Trent Jr. would be going up hot and cold. I would tell you this. Would you rather have a potent, ready to go, very sure shot Jamison Battle, just open it up in case of emergency, or overuse him, overwater him all over the place where he absolutely brings that percentage down that Paul B just quoted? And it's about efficiency over usage. You could use him like hell, and you might actually do more damage to him. I like the whole idea of him being a specialist and coming in as that specialized role as a three-point shooter, breaking in case emergency. We're in the second quarter or second half, and the other team's got a 10-point lead, and we need points quick. Call Jamison 77 in the game and see if he can do what he did in Cleveland. In some ways, that's his role. It's not an everyday rotation role. It's a specialized 3-point break in case emergency. We'll get you a lot of points real quick. And my accuracy is so good. If you start doing that too much, you might mess up his accuracy because you watered him down. That's what I say to that. And he could do a lot of that work that you think he might be stifled on behind the scenes, and we don't even need to see it. We don't even need to see it. Let's see. Wayne's saying this. Morning, Raptor Freaks. Well done last night. The other hurdle to achieve is to have consistent performances on the road. Mamu is a workhorse, and he surpassed my markers as a fan. Who's next? I know. I love this. Talking about Mamu and the acquisition, I was like, man, this is going to be so good. And Raptors fans will see it more and more as we go. And I love it seeing come to fruition and reality. This is interesting because our home record has been worse than our road record this year so far. But it's cleaning up. We're getting the home record better now. But we were winning better on the road. It's actually interesting. And now we got this 5-game road trip that we're going on right now. And this will be a good early test. Like I said, some of the matchups are not that bad. So we should have a very winning road trip. It's interesting because this season is very much either road or home. There's like weird 5-game home stands. And then there's like 5-game road trips like this. So we're going to have a home stand after this shortly after this road trip. So there's a very much either road. I like this because I'd rather them be in that mode. Getting a nice long homestand where they stay at home for like a week and don't have to travel at all. That's awesome. And then they do a bunch of road trips that are all in a row. That's easier too. And the road trips, none of them are super long this year. Usually there's like a 2-week road trip that goes out west, but there isn't. All the road trips are only like a week long, and none of them are getting up to like 10 days or 14-day trips, which will be a lot easier on the Raptors this year. It really is something that's in our favor with the schedule this year. Let's see. All right, let me keep going. Nako's saying Paulo is the worst thing about the Magic Big Three. Interesting, you're saying that. Kaloy's saying what I liked too last night is the defensive approach to completely different when we had the losing streak. Even if Giannis scored 30, that was a hard 30. You know, we were underwater and we were drowning in that first game against Milwaukee. We had no answers and nobody was adjusting in the game to step up to get in his way. And the fact that it was such night and day from what Giannis did to us in the first game against him to last night is a real testament to us improving and getting better and fixing things quickly. Because honestly, Giannis did whatever the fuck he wanted to do to us in our home opener. And the progress of Scottie holding him out, that's a huge, big credit is to Scottie Barnes on Giannis last night, is a big night and day difference. And I love it. That you want to go this way instead of the other way, right? If we had this game on the opening night and then we had the other game last night, we'd be a little dismayed, right? Wow, we did so good against them in the opening night, but we'll beat them by 28. And then they just kicked our ass. And Giannis just went, yeah, we want progress, not regress. And that's showing the right signs right there. That's right. Let's see. Nako's saying Cole Anthony, Ryan Rollins, they seemed invisible last night. Cohesion is starting to look real good. Yeah, those guys are role players that should never look that good in that first game. Cole Anthony is not a real deal person that the Bucks fans can depend on. In some ways, that's part of the reason why he's not on the Magic anymore. Seriously. So, I mean, that made me laugh when a Bucks fan tried to tell me Cole Anthony is one of our superstars. You're crazy. You're absolutely crazy. You think that Cole Anthony is one of your superstars. Randolph saying this. Lex, when did the Bucks get all those little babies that were playing when their stars went out? That team is young. The funny thing is that, like, look, the Bucks have no development for over the years. Giannis is the last draft pick that has stuck past their rookie contract. Nobody that they've drafted since Giannis, and we know how long he's been in the league, over 10 years, right, has stuck on their team. They don't develop within. So they, guys like AJ Green, they traded and got AJ Green, I think, or something. He was actually drafted by somebody else and they just showed up. Yeah, I don't know where they got all these guys. I don't even think some of them are young guys. I mean, they're people like Gary and Amir Coffey and Tarion Prince and Bobby Portis. These guys aren't young guys. A lot of their team is still pretty old. They do have Rollins, who's kind of young. And but really, I wouldn't characterize them as where did they get all these young guys? Where did they get all these mid guys that are mid in their career, midway through their career, like Amir Coffey and Tarion Prince, and those kind of guys? Because I don't totally see them like that. I see them as an older team in some ways. That's not a young team that we played last night. That's not a young team overall. Nako's saying Sixers are good this year. Why do you do that? Why do you say something? You don't have to say that. They have a good record right now. Doesn't mean they're good. It doesn't mean they're good. They're as good as Joel Embiid's knee is good. That's how good they are, Nako. They're as good as his knee goes. That's right. Seymour's saying we will beat the Sixers if we keep playing like this. Sixers was up 20 on the Bulls and lost, which was hilarious. Yeah, I saw the highlight of that. Vucevic wasn't totally wanting to stay in Chicago, but I think he's changing his mind after this start. And Giddey's been very interesting this year so far. The contract Giddey's on is so good for what he's doing for them. He's like a triple-double machine, and he's the one who set up that winning play for Vucevic last night against the Sixers. I love that so much. I love them beating them right at the last second. And Giddey drew the attention in the lane and kicked it to the corner, and Nikola hit that shot in the corner, and boom, Bulls fans are going overjoyed. In some ways, this is they got rid of Lonzo Ball. That's why y'all are doing so well all of a sudden. I'll tell you that right now, Bulls Nation. Y'all don't have Lonzo Ball anymore. You don't have the albatross around your neck anymore. So you can win now again. And they have really interesting nucleus with Herter and Buzelis. And yeah, the Bulls are interesting. I'm not ready to bona fide them as a top Eastern team yet, even though their record looks so good. But man, I in some ways believe in them just as much as I believe in the Knicks. How about that? I believe in them just about as much as that. Yes, I'm digging them. And I love that they beat the Sixers last night. But yeah, we'll have to see what's going on Saturday night when we go to Philadelphia and we see our old friend Nick Nurse and Kyle Lowry on the bench. And yeah, we'll just have to see. Maybe Scottie has some special stuff for them. Maybe we got something special for Joel. I hope they're playing on Friday night too. I don't know. I should check that out. Because I hope that it's even where we're both on the second night of a back-to-back. Because in some ways they may have an advantage, home court, and we are coming just like last night for the Bucks against them. We had an advantage against the Bucks. We stayed home. We had home court. We didn't play the night before. If that's the situation for the Sixers, well, that's the NBA schedule trying to give an easy win for the Sixers over the Raptors and setting up a back-to-back on the road, and they have been staying home. Yikes. Yeah, we'll have to see. I'm taking it game by game. We have an in-season tournament game first, and we got to check out Atlanta. That's right. Let's see. Kaloy said Nick Nurse playing Maxey 40 minutes and his rookie 37 minutes. VJ Edgecombe. Yeah. I'm not ready to anoint him. People are going too fast on him so far. We got to see more about him. I want to see him in person. Kaz is saying, good morning, Lex from Rat Free Crew. Sign Mamu to a 4-year deal similar to Aaron Wiggins. That's an interesting idea. I'm not against it. I would like him to be around long term. If he likes being up here, well, yeah, let's do it. It's a little early to get this stuff done, but we'll see. We'll see. Nako saying Bulls are also good this year. Okay, we said that already. Naka is here. Good to see you again, man. With Shed is brought in to steady the ship, we play winning basketball. I think that we're playing winning basketball most of the 48 minutes right now, and it doesn't matter if it's Quickly or Shed. I think that Quickly is playing winning basketball also right now. Kareem's saying this. I'm kind of worried about Scottie's hands. Maybe for Christmas we can get him a right and left Nintendo Power Glove. That's a weird. I don't know how that protects him. In some ways, that may make him play more video games and get carpal tunnel from like playing too much Nintendo or something like that. All right, Kareem, I'm giving you a dunk for creativity, but I don't understand it. Like, I'd rather them get him chainmail. Why don't they get him like armor from like a medieval times or something? They go next door. They go to medieval times to say, hey, the Raptors are here, guys. Look, hey, the Raptors are here at the back door in the alley near the dumpster. Came over from OVO Center. What do you guys need? It was like, hey, do you guys have any chainmail gloves like a gauntlet or a cuisses or what do you call them? You know, like they're gloves that the knight would wear when they're jousting in your arena. Do you have the gloves? Can we borrow them for a little while? We want to try this. Yeah, what? Why do you need these gloves? Don't worry about it. We just need the chainmail gloves y'all use for medieval times, please. Can you just hand them over, please? Don't ask questions, please. All right, here they are, Scottie Barnes. That'd be weird, man. That'd be really weird if they went to medieval times and asked for some armored gloves for Scottie so he doesn't hurt his hands. 257 on the dunk chart, Kareem Thomas. I think you're back over Seymour now at this point. Seymour's 252, 257, 252. Yeah, Kareem's been picking up some dunks recently. He has, yeah. Let's see. Neil's saying Gary Trent Jr. struggles on his second night of back-to-back, especially when he goes off in the first last night. Last night, his play was expected. I mean, I don't hate on Gary. I love Gary. And in some ways, I want him to play well against us. I want him to do well. I want us to still win, but I don't ever want Gary to look bad because I like Gary. He's a good, upstanding Raptors alumni. I like Gary. I wouldn't wish this for him. What we did well was ensure that Rollins and Anthony didn't go off. Drives were under control. Yes. And that was part of the game plan. I said, look, Giannis is going to beat you to a degree. You can't let the rest of the team beat you. And Ryan Rollins did not beat us last night. Thank God. No Cole Anthony bullshit late in the game either. Yeah, that's right. Neil's saying Giannis was worn down, even though he scored well. Playing him physically was taxing on him. I don't think he was scoring anything easy. I think everything he did last night was difficult, and it was not easy for him at all. He was worn down too. Yeah. Giannis got many foul calls, so Doc complaining about it is nothing more than whistling in the wind. I'm gonna say this: the Raptors got good whistle last night. The refs were on our side. They gave us home court calls, and yes, Giannis was getting fouled, and not all of them were getting called. The philosophy of the Raptors is foul every play. They can't call all of them. So no, he was getting fouled, and they did have a right to complain, but it wasn't going to matter. In some ways, it's refreshing to be on the other side of deaf ears than the Raptors are sometimes. So it's kind of nice to see that superstar power doesn't always get you the whistle and get you the line automatically, and sometimes you get shafted by the refs and not getting the calls right. So in some ways, this is just evening out. Raptors, how many nights have we had a deaf ear on the calls and no whistles for us? Well, we saw it happen to the Bucks. I'm not upset about it. That's just how it goes sometimes. That's just how it goes. That's right. Neil's saying this: as long as we will the Atlanta game, as long as we win the Atlanta game, we will be a 500 team in our first 10 games. I expect to be at or above 600 by 20 games. These are lofty achievements and goals, but hopefully we can achieve them. I don't see why we can't. We can try and do this. Neil's saying Bobby Portis shot them out of the game. He didn't make his shot like he did in the first one. And in some ways, they were daring him. There was one point where Scott was not coming out to close out on him, and they just let him shoot. I was like, y'all, you don't let him do that. Last game we played against him, he hit those. But he missed them last night, and that was good. That was good. Raptors are deer hunters. I like that. Robert De Niro. I like that. Christopher Walken. That's right. Neil's saying this: IQ has time to get better. When you have BI, RJ, and Scottie being the top scorers, then the other players have to be more efficient with less touches. I think Neil's on to something here. Just because Emmanuel's not playing his highest level right now doesn't mean he won't. And also vice versa. Other guys in the starting lineup may go into lower levels of play as the season goes on, because this is biometrics. This is just how the NBA season goes. Guys goes up and down. And, well, Emmanuel's in the down a little bit right now, but he's going to come back up. And another guy on the team's going to have a down at some point. Y'all need to be realizing this. It's natural. It's just the way basketball is. And in some ways, it's nice to have the luxury of a lot of talent on your team so that you can weather these kind of storms with individual players that aren't playing exactly at their top. And that's all it is. There may be a little bit of taking turns and being in a little bit of mini slumps. And that's natural for an NBA team. And there's nothing wrong with what's going on with Manuel Quickly, even though people think there is. People manufacturing bullshit right now. Seriously. Let's see. Neil has I already read that. Let's see. Raptor over Buck. I like that, Fiercey. Big up, Fiercey. Eric signed it. Yes. Okay, cool. He did sign that book for you. And you got it. Awesome. So Monique's got her We the Raptors book. I'm glad about that. Loved our 3-point shooting last night. We should get used to this. We have not been a good shooting team for a long time. But you know what? With Brandon's addition, he's opened space, and his own ability to shoot helps our percentage by himself. But the presence of him helps RJ's percentage, helps Scottie's percentage. So our 3-point shooting has just gone up in general because Brandon Ingram's on our team. And I really solely give a lot of credit to Brandon Ingram for why our offense is so much better this year. It really is the biggest needle pusher for the Raptors offense being way more efficient, way more capable, and way more potent. Is Brandon Ingram makes it better himself, and he makes the other teammates better because of him and who he is also. So that's a big part of it right there. It's a big part of it. Definitely the shooting was great. Yeah. Most saying W stream, W vibes. Just my cutoff just before 3 hours. Go Raptors for life. Keep at it always. Love the Raptor Freak crew. Strong forever. Just helping me limit the comments. Thank you, Mo. And thank you for going to the game. Thank you. Trevor J saying fashion is a recycle thing. Always comes back around. Yeah. Yeah. The trends come back around every once in a while. Bell bottoms right now are back. 80 style, 70 style, 60 style. It's true. Now, what I would like to say is he says they recycle the style. I'd like to see us recycle the clothes. I put it on clothing manufacturers to be more green. Y'all make new fashion designs every fall and every season, and stuff goes to landfills. We need to start looking at production of goods, clothing, anything as needing to be sustainable. And we need to have more hand me downs. We need to have more regifting. We need to have more reusing. We need to stop making so much new stuff that ends up going in the landfills. This is a huge problem in this world right now. There's a problem with junk mail and how many trees we're cutting down, and people are just throwing this shit right into the garbage. Why are we spending so much money on junk mail and cutting down trees and killing the trees if we're sending out a bunch of colorful flyers to everybody's door that they just throw directly in the garbage? There's a lot of things we're doing that's nonsensical right now that we need to change. And the attitudes about consumerism and how we manufacture things that go straight to the landfill, that needs to change. And fashion industry is very guilty of this. There needs to be more people going to thrift shops. There needs to be people going and getting clothes that have been used already. Because honestly, why do we keep having to make more and more clothes like this? Is this drive economics? Is it just to make money for corporations? No, we need to be sustainable and thinking about the world. And when he said recycle, that's what I thought instead of the idea of the bell bottom. That's right. Giannis Sky's here. He's saying hello. Congrats for the wins. Thanks, man. We know you're a Raptor fan too. We know you're a Giannis fan first, and you're a big Greece fan, and we respect you. The Greek Freak, to me right now, is the MVP of the league. I think that he's showing that he's the most valuable player to his team, and in some ways he's carrying his team, and he's the best player in the Eastern Conference right now. That is absolutely the damn truth. It's not Jason Tatum. It's not Joel Embiid. It's not any of the Raptors. Giannis Antetokounmpo is the best Eastern Conference player in the NBA. And I want to give credit to your guy because he's a phenomenal player. And I respect and I love what he does, man. Seriously, he's one of the guys at the top of the league that I respect the most. So big ups to Giannis. Salute to you, man. Seriously. In victory or defeat against him, I enjoy Raptors playing him. I really do. Really do. Common Crazy's here. Scotty, please. Scotty, please, to muck video games. Too much video games is what he's saying. Too much video games. I don't think it's happening anymore. One of the things I'm worried about with Scott is the baby. Now, how much parental duties is Scott doing? I don't think he's doing a whole lot. And it's probably good because in some ways, Scotty is the breadwinner. Scotty is the big money man for that family. He's the big NBA contract. And to make that money and to maximize his money, he's got to focus on his NBA career. And he probably doesn't have a lot of time for his daughter and the duties of taking care of her. I'm sure he does stuff just to know how to do the stuff, like change a diaper and maybe stay up with her. But I hope he's not staying up all night because of a crying 1-year-old baby. I hope not. And I hope, I know Alyssa is probably very much on top of things for taking care of their child. And, but this was a concern I had, like, since he became a dad, is like, look, there may be a period in the first couple of years of the child's life where Scotty's a little bit more tired and distracted because of being a dad. But it seems like they've got that keeper separated. And he's in some ways, he's got the people supporting and helping to care for his daughter, and that he's got the right balance. Because I don't see any extra fatigue or anything like that. He's performing at a high level, and there's no indications that being a young father is taking away from his game. This was a concern I had, and I thought about this, but in some ways I don't see it. And I'm sure he has very good people watching his daughter. And I'm sure Alyssa's number one. Positive she is. That's right. That's right. Let's keep going. Let's see. Chris Gum's saying this. I get it to hit 2 threes, which he did in this first quarter because I believe in him. Unfortunately, he didn't hit any more. He'll be fine. Were you talking about Gary or IQ? Because they both did that. They both did that. Kareem's saying, hey, y'all, I just heard a Darko Presser saying we didn't have practice for 10 days because of the Jays. Yeah, he did say that yesterday. I'm glad you brought it up. Yeah, because this was a detriment with the whole early time that we had to do for some of those games. Like we started at 6 p.m. A couple of games, 2 of the games because of the Blue Jays in the World Series. And the detriment was because the game was earlier in the day, they couldn't do a walk around practice or shoot around those days. So Darko lamented that we hadn't been able to get as much practice recently, because we kind of moved things for the Blue Jays, and it was a detriment to us. We missed out on a couple daily practices on those days where we had early starts at 6 p.m. It sucks. In some ways, they weathered it fine. We can't get mad at this. In some ways, it's like, I get why they did it, traffic concerns or whatever, different things, whatever the reasons were. But we went through it. We had it happen. It is what it is. And but yeah, this is the kind of action and stuff that I worry about in MLSE with the hierarchy they like to put out. You can go look at Scotiabank Arena posts, and it's always the Leafs are posted before the Raptors. There's definitely an underlying hierarchy in the minds of MLSE, Scotiabank Arena, and the owners and Rogers and all that shit. That the Leafs are high on the list, number one. The Blue Jays are probably two, and the Raptors are somewhere below those guys. And I get worried about that, because that's part of why I do my channel. That's why I fight for us, is because I do worry about the Leafs and the Blue Jays hurting the Raptors on the down low. And this is a case where this may be actually evident, that because of the early start times, because of the Blue Jays in the World Series, it hurt us for practice time. Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of messed up, huh? It's kind of messed up. Let's see. What else am I saying here? Chris saying, I bet IQ's got to stop driving and messaging. Raptors champ saying, RJ is comfortable once you see him passing with that behind the back accuracy. They've been doing this pass, not just him. Shed does it too, and Scottie too. They like to do this little behind, like push it behind them pass. It's like they'll be looking forward and they'll throw it behind themselves to a guy behind them. I love that. We saw that multiple times in a couple of games recently, where Shed's doing it, RJ's doing it, and Scottie does it too. It's a little weird, like no look behind the back pass where they're just pushing it behind themselves to a guy behind them. And it's actually kind of cool to see. Chris comes saying, I think Atlanta is better without Trey. That may be true. We own him. So next game is winnable, but going to be tough, especially since they just beat them on the road. I think we've got a good matchup against Atlanta like we did in the first game of the season, and we should just do a similar thing. I think that Trae Young is more important to them at this point. You may be right that they may be a better team without him, but they're so new with Porzingis and some of the new pieces that they need Trae Young as a leader to kind of keep them organized as the steady guy who's been there forever and kind of is the one who's in charge. Without him on the court for a while and them having such many new players, it's going to be a little bit more difficult for Quinn Snyder to keep the Hawks organized and on track. Because in some ways, Trae Young is the point guard. He could do that, help him on that. But if he's not on the court because he's got a torn MCL, Atlanta's in trouble for this. It's not like Porzingis is going to jump into the leadership role for the Hawks and start being the leader for them. He's not going to do that. So this could be a real issue for them. Trust me. This could be a real issue for them. I think it's going to hurt them more than it's going to help them that Trae's out for sure. Sure. Cream's got my cutoff for sure. Drink some water. Yeah, I probably should. And I am at 3 hours. Lexathon. You have a big win like this, it's going to happen. All right, let me run through my tabs really quickly, and we'll try and finish up very soon. All right, check your fantasy teams. If you're in the Yahoo Fantasy League for the Rapid Freaks, lots of competitive games. Still a lot of days this week, so make sure you get in there and check on it. Straight goods on Canadian goods, guys. Today I'm talking about a great breakfast place called Sunset Grill. Sunset Grill is Canada's #1 restaurant destination for breakfast or lunch. They've been open since 1985. Their founder, Angelo Cristo, opened Sunset Grill's doors for the first time in the Beaches in downtown in Toronto. So you guys know Sunset Grill. You probably have one near you somewhere. And, man, it's just a fantastic breakfast. Very friendly, always a good high-quality breakfast, and it's Canadian. So if you want to go get a breakfast, and even into the afternoon, they're open till like 3. If you want to go get a breakfast late because you drank too much the night before and you're hungover, Sunset Grill is a good place to go to get you right with the greasy food and try and start feeling better. All right, let's keep going. Raptors Reddit, are you being are you being right? Yeah, they're talking about RJ and Scottie and Brandon as a trio, and the stat lines look awesome next to each other. All of them over 20 points, all of them over 4 rebounds, almost 5 rebounds a game for RJ. 3.5 assists for RJ, 5 assists for Scottie, 3.9 for Brandon. And all 3 of them are shooting over 50% from the field. 55% for RJ, 51% for Scottie, and 54% for Brandon. That's high quality trio right there, guys. That's a high quality trio. All right, let's keep going. Happy birthday to Brandon Ingram's mentor, former Raptors 905 coach and champion, former assistant coach of the Toronto Raptors, and also a great NBA player who played many, many years, Jerry Stackhouse. Happy birthday to Stack. It is his 51st birthday. So happy 51st birthday, Jerry Stackhouse, mentor to Brandon Ingram. I'm sure Ingram is celebrating for his mentor, also from Kinston, North Carolina, just like Brandon. The connection is very strong. So happy birthday, Jerry. And he's an assistant coach for the Warriors right now. Just so you know, a little fun fact about Jerry Stackhouse that maybe none of y'all knew. Jerry Stackhouse is a singer, and he has in his career sang the national anthem before NBA games. He came out as a player and sang the anthem at a couple games, just so y'all know. Did y'all know that? I didn't know that until I've realized it this morning. It says it on his Wikipedia that Jerry Stackhouse has sang the national anthem for the United States before, I think it was Mav games or something like that. It's pretty interesting. Pretty interesting. All right, let's do the classic card. Yeah, I didn't know that, man. Jerry's got pipes like Lex. That's right. That's right. All right, let's see. Oh, this is funny. All right, here we go. Full name answer, please. And you could even put the last part of it on there, too. It's probably right. You should. Yeah, degenerate family. You know who it is. Come on now. Yeah, this is too easy. In some ways, we've talked about this guy recently. This guy is getting a whole bunch of stats for fantasy teams this year. But yeah, it's Jonte's brother, Michael. Michael Porter Jr. is the classic card of the day today. Fiercey's got it. Fiercey's got it. Make sure you're live. If you're watching me live in the morning, make sure you're live. Hit that live button so you can get the classic card before somebody else. Also, if you're not watching me live and you're watching me later on the day, 1.5 speed, 2 times speed, if you can handle it, is all right to watch my long 3 hours long Lexathon. That's only 50 points, Fiercey, for Michael Porter Jr., who has a lot of good stats, but the team is not winning. All right, y'all. Thanks for watching the Raptor Freak stream today. Tomorrow, we're going to go deep on Sandy Brondello, the brand new head coach of the Toronto Tempo. And we're going to be very focused on WNBA tomorrow. Sure, we'll still talk about Raptors, but I do really want to give a true stream time to our WNBA team, the Tempo, because things are starting to happen with them. And I have information I want to share with you guys. You won't want to miss the show tomorrow. Seriously. Because I'm going to drop something on y'all that you're going to be like, holy shit, wow, this is amazing. That you're going to have that reaction to what I have to say tomorrow. Seriously. So please come on in and see it. Yeah, by the way, he was out for 3 games due to personal reasons. Michael Porter Jr. missing games due to personal reasons. Maybe he's going to visit his brother in prison. That's why he has personal reasons for that, all right? All right, y'all. Once again, my stars of the game for the game last night. Fantastic job, Scottie Barnes. You played the most perfect quarter I've ever seen you play in the first quarter. Sandra Mamu, my 2nd star. RJ Barrett, 3rd star. Brandon Ingram, 4th star. And Grady Dick got the 5th star in the game last night. Good job, Raptors. Let's get another win. 4 in a row against Atlanta in-season tournament on Friday. I'll have the preview for that game, the ref report, all the latest lineup news. Get you set up for the game right like I did yesterday and the games we've been doing this season. That's right. This is the thing. You can come and get the ref report from me in the morning, and you'll see what happens with people like JT Orr and Brett Bernanke and all them at night. You saw that ref crew was pretty cool, huh? Pretty cool ref crew last night. They weren't bad. Yeah. Let's see. Kaz is saying, I have him on my fantasy team. He's playing tonight. Okay, so he only sat out 1 game for personal reasons? Okay. All right, y'all. Thanks for watching. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Let's go Tempo. Yeah, Sandy. We're going to talk about it tomorrow. Let's go Raptors. 3 in a row. Let's go get 4. And yeah, I forgot to say, Darko's taking Sandy out to dinner or lunch today. Yeah, Darko and Sandy are bonding, and they're going to be friends. And Darko's reaching out. He actually already knows Sandy because she was in Phoenix coaching the Mercury when he was an assistant coach on the Phoenix Suns, and he met her there. So there is a connection they already have, and he's going to take her to lunch today. And Darko's hanging out with Sandy, and he's going to be in contact with her. They're going to work together as the Tempo and Raptor coaches. So yeah, it's pretty cool. All right, Cass, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Let's go Raptors. Let's go Raptors. Let's go Tempo. Let's go Tempo.